following program is an exclusive Disruption Networks production.
The Property Sisters of the Mohawk Valley was born when 3 top producing agents with over 25 years of combined experience selling real estate joined forces to take real estate to the next level. We practice with honesty, integrity, and the knowledge to help make the buying and selling process easy and stress-free for all of our clients. We pledge to always make our clients our top priority from start to finish and even after the house is closed. We will always be a valued resource for information and assistance for our buyers and sellers. Our customers over the years have become not only past clients, but great friends. As we join hands together as the Property Sisters of the Mohawk Valley, we look forward to serving our clients and our community and making a positive difference. You can reach us at 315-601-9630 for all of your real estate needs.
When it's your hard-earned money on the line that you are investing into a home, it makes sense to choose a proven professional to assist you in making one of the biggest investments you may ever make. Josh's dedication of over 20 years to the home construction industry allows him to bring knowledge and experience to your doorstep. That means you can feel confident and comfortable with his service to you. Past clients love his attention to detail and thorough written reports. By allowing Priceless Inspections to help you make a well-informed decision concerning your property, you will find that a quality inspection is priceless. Follow Priceless Inspections on Facebook or call 315-525-8725.
Hi, this is attorney Nick Pasalacqua. The team of attorneys I have assembled at Pasalacqua & Associates has been carefully hand-picked to include the best trial attorneys in the particular areas of the law that we practice. Have you been charged with DWI or any other crime? Members of our team include former assistant district attorneys, now fighting to protect your rights 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Have you or someone you love been seriously injured in a motor vehicle accident? Members of the team at Pasalacqua & Associates include former insurance defense attorneys, now fighting to ensure that you get every penny you're entitled to. If you need legal help quick, don't waste your time or money calling anyone else. Remember, for legal help quick, you better call Nick and the team at Pasalacqua & Associates. 315-500-NICK or 315-500-6425 or visit cnytriallaw.com today.
You're listening to the D-Line. Welcome to the D-Line.
Illegal contact! Number 51! Zinkutsu elbow thrust! To the up back! Oimawatsu roundhouse lunge kick to the quarterback. Takatami insword block to the... Shit, never mind. 15 yards. First down.
Live football podcast on the Disruption Network.
You just got the feeling that he smelled the a-hole and then got it in the end zone.
You find out life's this game of inches. So is football.
And now, here's your hosts, Chicken, Caleb, and Sil.
But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, yeah, my mic's off.
Good job, Mike. Way to go, buddy.
See, you know, like where we began in the beginning of the season to where we are now, it's.
You still haven't improved.
I still haven't improved.
Yeah. Well, we're getting there. You'll get there one day.
Am I there yet?
We're all there. Yeah.
All right. I can barely hear my own.
You can hear?
What?
Can you hear me now?
I can't.
Oh, man.
I'm not in my own ears, so it's weird. Feels like I'm yelling.
Stop yelling, Sil.
All right.
There you go.
Well, you know what? It's probably because
We're good. I'm
I
good.
could turn you up here a little bit.
All right.
A little better.
No.
All right. Anyways, welcome
Yeah,
to
we're
the
all
D-Line.
right. We're okay.
Sil's like old. So welcome,
Can't hear out of his ears.
welcome to the D-Line. Join us as usual as Silbrith, Caleb.
Not
Welcome
as
back,
usual,
Caleb.
but I'm back. Not as usual, but
Nice
I'm
to
back.
see you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks,
And our guest today, Mr. Tom Powers. How you doing? Hopefully your mic's on.
Good, thanks, Chicken. Is it on?
Yeah, all right. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Woohoo!
Let's get that TP with us today.
You know what
From-
you're doing?
From the Celtic Harp and the John Devereaux Tavern, correct?
Yes,
Did I say that
thank
right?
you.
Nice.
Yes.
Yes, both. Wow. And TP, before we get going here, I mean, I have to say the Dev is a place to go right now, man. Holy shit. You guys have done a nice job over there, man. I really like it. I really like it. I didn't know the old Dev, so I didn't have anything to compare it to, but I still like going to the new Dev.
Yeah, that's, I have a lot of fond memories there.
Sure.
So when I saw it available, I was like, well, we got to bring it back to where it used to be, the music spot, the place to go to hear live entertainment and
Definitely.
local people jamming.
Yeah.
You know, put a nice lunch out there for all the people that work down that way. And
yeah, the lunch, the food, yeah.
Thanks.
A little bit of food, a little bit of signature cocktail too. So if you're out and about it, I mean, we all know you can't be from around here and not know what the Celtic Harp is and what the Celtic Harp brings you and the good food that they have there. So it carries right over to the John Devereaux Tavern.
You can't even go to a brewery show and not know where the Celtic Harp is. I mean, you come walking around that corner and just bam, there's
there they are. There's the Harp.
Just left the brewery. They got a very nice concert schedule set up along with their usual Saranac Thursday. So we're excited about the upcoming summer.
Yes.
As long as we get a little sunshine, I think
this will
be fine.
This is my first. This is my first summer in 3 years off of the street, not working on Thursdays. Off the street, yeah, that's what they call it. Once you've been down there for a while and you've worked down there, they say you're off the street now. So
we'll get you some tight jeans and a tank top. We'll get you back.
Yes,
oh, he's going back into hooking then, huh?
Yeah.
So,
down special.
Like
some cutoffs.
I always say working in the bars like
cutoffs. I like that. So definitely cutoffs.
Working in bars like being in the mob. Like as soon as every time you think you're out, they bring you back in.
Yeah, they suck you back in somehow.
Somebody called in. I need you just one night.
Yeah. 3 years later.
Yeah.
His girlfriend say the same thing.
That's why Z was trying to say that he was done. Like it was his last night at Griffin's a month or so back. He's like, I'm done. I'm never going back. This is it for bartending.
He said that when he closed the bar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's actually funny. The day he said that, the day of his retirement, Jordan and Nicole from the Dev were here on the show, and both of them didn't even let him have a breath. They were like, "There is no shot you'll be back. Don't worry.
Nope.
You will be back, Z." So
it's like a boxer. Where you're going to make that kind of money in one night.
Yeah.
You're always coming back for one more fight.
Sure,
it is true.
Sure.
And I think it gets in your blood after a while too. You kind of get used to that bar life.
Yeah.
If you're a social person, you like to be around people. What else you going to do?
Yeah.
If you want to work in a cubicle and not be around people, there's people like that who enjoy that setting. But if you like people like we do, then that's where you belong. In a social setting and in a social occupation. So
I used to call it retail therapy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it used to be like customers always right to now being a bouncer. Like, no, you're not.
No. Especially your job. My job, I guess, or my old job when I was bartending was, some of the times they're right, but
unless Michelle's working.
If they were wrong, chicken, I was coming to you. So that's you're right about your job. So
Mike.
So but that's and then you have Michelle. Yeah, so I guess everybody's always wrong according to Michelle. So can't be right there. So.
But what do you got going on this weekend at the bars?
Well, we got Jerry and the Dove Tones down at the Devereaux. If you haven't seen Jerry, he's outstanding. At the Harp this weekend on Friday, we have Crushing June coming through. They always put on a great show. We're hoping for some sunshine, actually. Not even sunshine, just a little, no rain, some decent temperatures so we can get the outdoor bar open on.
People want to be outside.
Yeah,
definitely.
Word up. I think we're all over. It's like it's depressing at a point now where, we live here. We expect winter, but it's just it's really, really gone a little too far.
We also expect our good summers though too.
Yeah.
That's the part. I always tell people one of the main reasons and when I moved back, I mean I was kind of forced to move back with my job, but one of the biggest reasons I did move back and I don't mind being here is not only summer in upstate New York but also fall. I love fall in this area, but like you said, let's get to summer first. Let's have summer. Let's enjoy the summer because there are a lot of big things happening this summer.
We just had it a couple days ago.
Yeah. What more do you want?
We had the 2 days. So I guess we'll go from there. But
okay, you're a baseball scout. I mean, look at high school baseball.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a long-time coach in the area.
Sure.
And he used to say, I'll go to sectional meetings, and they're never going to change you, but you should really play high school baseball in New York in the fall and high school football in the spring.
Yeah.
It'll never change, but due to the weather we got, how many high school games have...
It's just been cancellation after cancellation. I feel like, to be honest with you, TP, I feel like I'm more sitting around updating my schedule and making sure my schedule is right for not only me but also my boss. I'm spending more time doing that than I am going to games. Getting the cancellations from coaches, getting, talking to people in the area, seeing who's going to be playing, projected pitching starts and stuff like that. It's not easy. So that's a really good point because football you could play You could play
in the
spring.
elements.
You could play it in the elements if you wanted to up here, but I mean, it just wouldn't be right, I guess. So,
it's been the way it is for so long. It's never going to change.
Yeah, you can't change it. So
you look at you look at when we work out and we start in August for doubles, we have to bring in the heat index, and it's a real issue with us losing some practice time outside because we have to worry about heat exhaustion, dehydration, etc. Whereas we wouldn't have to worry about that in the spring.
Sure.
And, that's one of the things that really limits our kids as far as going on with baseball is
it really does.
They just don't get enough reps.
Well, and you look at a lot of other a lot of other places around the country where you can play all the time, and you don't have to factor in. I mean, even in the football spectrum too. One of your hotbeds for football is Texas and Florida and California. It's the same as in baseball. Those are your hotbeds because those guys really never have to worry too much about that weather. It's not a thought process. It's not something that's really too considered, except for like you're talking about with the heat.
And there's not a whole lot going on either. It's not like they got huge nightlives.
The heat is one of those things that it just for football. I know, like you said, in the summertime, it's man, it's become a problem. You see it with things happening with players and different things like that. So
now, Tom, you want to say where you coach from or coach for?
Oh, I coach JV football at New Hartford High School. Absolutely.
Nice.
Love working with kids. Yeah, I'm a social worker by trade. That's what I did before the Harp opened.
Mm-hmm.
And keeps me working with the kids and teaching something I really love. And, it's a good group. It's a good group of kids, and we have a lot of fun with it. Unfortunately, the last couple of years we've been down, but we have a great young group coming up, so we're excited about this season and the season's going forward. So
now, let's talk a little bit too. What's your past with football? What's your story with football?
I'm a Utica boy. I grew up right here in Cornhill, UFA Titans, and went on to Niagara University and played when they had a team. And
believe it or not, that's weird to me. That's foreign to me to think that Niagara had a football team.
Yeah, Siena had one. Niagara, there was Title IX, which knocked down, plus the cost of football.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Although Utica College has had a rebirth with their embracing sports. Utica College was dying on the vine, and they embraced hockey and football and, brought in more women's sports as well.
Sure.
And it really brought the enrollment up and, it's brought the campus back a long way. Dr. Hutton there.
Definitely, yeah.
Really found a way to make that work. So, but it's for me, it was a great experience. Met a lot of friends I've kept the rest of my life. I'm looking forward to my son who's a junior. He's interested in going on and playing.
The process starts. The recruiting process starts.
Yeah, he's gotten some letters and already went on some unofficial visits. So, so it's a lot of fun.
So are you a head coach or do you do like positional coach?
No, I'm a coach. I coach the JV. I coach the offense for the JV, and then we do stat work and booth work on Fridays. But
so Sill's the only one crazy enough to be a head coach of a team.
Yeah,
not by choice either.
No, it was the head coach had health issues, and all of a sudden it was like, all right, well, you're head coach now. I was like,
yeah. Yeah. People don't understand. People laugh about it, but I'm like, I would make more money picking coffee beans in Columbia per hour than I do as a coach, because people don't see the time you put in.
No, yeah.
During football season, it's 7 days a week. If you're coaching baseball, you do played Legion baseball was every single day, and that's a volunteer position. So, I appreciate the people I work with. Our head coach is Jim Kramer, used to be at Utica College. Offensive coordinator. He's a great guy, amazing coach. He's probably one of the best coaches in the state. Not probably, he is one of the best coaches in the state. So I'm excited that he's running the program and that football in this area is going forward. I'm a little concerned in the future with the sport because
14 and younger not allowed to wear helmets anymore.
Right.
That's up for bill in Maryland, I believe now.
Yeah, looking as a parent, I did my research. And the Mayo Clinic has a great study that high school football has no long-term effects due to the speed of the sport, repetition. You see the CTE and you look at these guys live their whole career. This guy 6'5", runs 4.7. He's hitting another guy. They're going to have some damage. And
sure.
But when you look at high school Division III, there isn't any long-term effects or support any studies that support long-term effects due to the fact that kids aren't as big, they're not moving as fast, and the way we practice is so much different than when I went to high school back in the 80s. So it's
the new tackling techniques are just
the limit on hitting, when you can hit, how you tackle, how you block. You don't lead with your head in any case ever. So what we're seeing is a lot less concussions. We're seeing the similar numbers in hockey and lacrosse now if you look at high school sports as you do in football. So, and any coach who coaches will tell you kid safety is number one. And sometimes that's an issue with you get a kid who's not very talented and he doesn't play and his parents are angry, but you're not sitting the kid because you don't want him to play. Sometimes it's not in his best interest to go out there. But it's safety is the number one reason. But I think that as we go forward, the sport's going to change at the high school level. You won't see it change like Caleb said in Texas or down south in the SEC country, but up here in the Northeast, you'll see legislation that changes how things are done.
Sure. Now, as a coach, I know there's got to be a learning curve now for you too to go out there because you probably played football your entire life, and now you got to relearn it.
I mean, I stopped in college. I came back. My son went through Pop Warner. That's a totally different teaching environment. Then I went in under a coach. We ran a spread. Now we run, a basic, more of a power offense. Like, in other words, we went from a wide open run and shoot type of a deal to now more of a Wisconsin, run it and smash it type people.
Right down the Rondane.
Yeah. So, and that's the beauty of high school and college football. We're here to talk about the NFL draft, which is something I love. But what I really love about high school and college is there's so many different ways that the game is played. There's, option. There's, wide open spread. There's West Coast. There's power running. There's veer. There's so many different offensive techniques, so many different defenses that teams play. As with the pros, it's pretty basic. I mean, a few years ago, Miami throws a wildcat out there, and everybody's like, "Holy cow!" You don't see too much of that. You don't see somebody coming out and doing something totally different. There was a thing on HBO, I think it was HBO, that had a high school coach in the Midwest who never punts, doesn't punt.
Madden rules, we call it.
Yeah, every kickoff's an onside kick, and he refuses to punt regardless. And he said the numbers are behind it. He's had a successful program. You can see that in a successful guy in high school who isn't risking. He's a teacher. They're not going to fire him they may fire him for coaching, but he's not going to lose his teaching job. Whereas when you're coaching in the NFL, this is your life. This is how you feed your family. So you have to, you're less apt to gamble, I guess I would say.
Sure.
But like I said, in college football, its beauty is a team like Army or Navy comes out with the option and running.
Old style football.
Old school stuff that they have very disciplined kids who are smaller than the other team, but they're throwing something that's very hard to prepare for so they can get some success out of that. Whereas if you did that in the NFL, which is kind of why, Tim Tebow went by the wayside, is when you try to do that in the NFL, it's really difficult because of the talent of the athletes. So,
sure.
But I look forward to today. I'm really pleased you guys invited me.
Oh, absolutely. Great to have you on.
I know my mom's not listening, so I can tell her that I used to act sick every draft day back when they used to have it during the day. So I would skip school and be on the phone with my buddies all day and talking about who was going where and what they were drafting, and we'd have our own little sheets done. And I did it with my son today. He picked his first round.
This will be the first draft in 7 years so my best friend, he lives in Buffalo, it'll be the first time in 7 years that I won't be watching the draft with him. We always, we do the NFL pick'ems and stuff like that. That's what we live for. So, but yeah, I mean, it's an exciting day. I mean, and from what I've seen too today, and when I was following online and following different today at home on TV and stuff, they say this is going to be one of the most wild drafts.
I'm fucking pumped for
years.
today.
I can't. I really. I'm going to do a contest next year. I thought about it this year, and I think I'm going to do a contest next year. I'm going to give away. It's kind of like the NCAA bracket. You cannot.
Yeah.
You can't get all
No, you just
every first round.
There should be like an ESPN or a CBS or a Yahoo Sports contest. I was just thinking about this the other day, where you pick the first round, and whoever picks all 32 fucking picks right wins $100,000 kind of thing.
Hey, John, sweet hat.
Thanks, Gay Robot.
It doesn't. You're right. It doesn't have to be the team, but slot the guy.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like the first round.
Well, yeah. Because teams can trade out, but if you get the right guy in the right fucking numbered slot, I agree. Yeah.
What if you call a trade?
Just win money for that.
That's what we're saying. That's a lot. Like when I was doing my mock draft earlier today. Like I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, well, if this happens, then I could see this team going up to this spot,
right,
and getting this quarterback that they want. Because this is a quarterback draft. I mean, those are your prizes. The way they make it seem like. Those four guys. Think about it. I think a month and a half ago we were talking about the big three. We were talking about the big three, and this is how much things can change. We're talking about the big three, and now today, even last night, you heard the reports coming out, and you hear reports coming from a lot of GMs. They sometimes plant it in the media and stuff like that. But you heard today that the Browns are thinking about taking Mayfield at 1. It's just you never don't know. It's
trading out of 4.
But Mayfield will be there at 4.
Absolutely. This is like
Josh Allen's a racist.
Which some team may have floated, so he falls.
Right. Yeah,
exactly. It really is like Cold War, James Bond. Who's WikiLeaks, whatever. They're leaking this. Who did this? Who did that?
The Laramie Tunsil thing.
Yeah,
remember
that killed that kid.
I feel the Dolphins wanted that kid.
And the thing is, like, you look at the Collins kid with the Cowboys. He's one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL, and he wasn't charged with anything. But even the threat of him, even the thought of him being part of a crime, caused the kid not to get drafted. Cost him millions of dollars to no fault of his own, but it's really kind of...
It's like warfare.
It really is espionage. It's like, oh, you know what? Maybe we can get this kid to drop us if we leak something that he did this or said that.
They probably knew about that a month and a half ago.
Josh Allen's racist tweets. This morning
they specifically set somebody to just search this guy's tweet account from fucking 7 years ago.
This morning, all 32 teams went out and said, "Oh, let's go on Twitter and see what Josh Allen said today, or said like when he was 15 years old in high school." You know what I mean? No, they knew.
I think they did it months ago.
Well, it's somebody.
I really do.
They wanted to keep it under wraps. They go, we'll keep this right before draft day, and put it out there so he falls to us. So it's somebody like Buffalo.
Who knows? I mean, we're not gonna, we're not gonna character assassinate somebody.
Buffalo.
I'm a Steeler fan, so I know it wasn't them. But
yeah, right.
And I'm rooting for the Broncos to do well because a local kid is on their scout staff. Actually, runs the staff. But I look at it like the NFL has their own security staff. Yep. They know if we were even
all nonprofits do, don't they?
They would know every single thing about every single one of us. Going back to if you had a timeout back in kindergarten because you pulled Sally's, ponytail, whatever. Yeah. They know everything. Each team has their own security guys, ex-FBI, investigators, making sure that they know absolutely everything about you. So this isn't something, like Sil said, this isn't something that just popped up out of nowhere.
You remember when that, was it Martin, what the heck was his name? And Incognito got into it with all the slurs.
Yeah, Jonathan Martin. Incognito,
so, when I used to work for Verizon. I was working in our government team, and they're talking about how they can only go back. I think it was like 6 months in your text files to retrieve.
Bullshit.
And I'm like, I said to the guy, I'm like, well, then how did they pick up Incognito's messages from like a year and a half ago? Well, they're not supposed to. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
So that's how powerful the NFL is.
Yeah.
Well, it's what, $8 billion? $8 billion, I believe they made last year, maybe more. So yeah, that brings a lot of power.
Roger Goodell's done well for his owners, not so much for all of us, but
he's a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
That's a guy that needs to go.
But he just negotiated how much? What did he?
He got like 2 more years, didn't he?
He's getting $40 million a year.
They paid him private plane, a whole deal.
Yeah.
So I agree, but he works for the owners, and the owners are making money and they're happy. They're going to pay him.
Well, 2 of the biggest owners just went at it with him, Robert Kraft and
but
Jerry Jones.
They got put back in their place, though. I mean, you just notice because you know what, Chicken. If you notice when they retracted and came back to the Goodell circle was when right around the revenue sharing came out. Revenue sharing for how much they made. So once you get that revenue sharing check, it's like, wow. It's like on a smaller scale, it's like working at a bar and you hate that one bartender, but you're like, wow, damn. She makes the money. She brings the money in. The people are in here in the seats. They're bringing in the bread for you. So I mean, I guess it's kind of in that regards, you know. I guess Tom, if you could, you might have one of the two of those in your past. I would imagine, right? So
I mean, you know, yeah. I mean, there's some drama queens out there, but as long as they're ringing the register, you
exactly.
There's an old, you know, it's like the old thing. You got to choose your battles. So,
yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like you look at Baker Mayfield and some team. They said, all right, all the antics and nonsense. If he's going to win football games, we're gonna ride him. We're gonna take him.
Do you find it's like overblown though? Like this kid, like I see he blew up on the sidings like here and there, but he's a kid. People got to remember that.
You know, and that's what people lose sight of. Is he is a kid? He's a college kid. If that was happening in a flag football game in the quad, and he was doing that, people would be laughing, going, "Oh, you know what? You know, he's having fun. Let him. He's only a kid." But when you put it on a national spotlight and there's millions of dollars involved, maybe more, his behavior becomes under a microscope, and there's people who get paid to point that out or put it under a microscope. So absolutely, I mean, he, you know, does he say some things that, you know, old school coaches or old school players are like, "Oh my God." He does, but it's a different environment. His teammates love him, which is more important, I think, than anything that he does. As long as his teammates support him, his teammates at Oklahoma has been reported that they love him.
Yeah,
that's great. Now, if he goes into a locker room like the New England locker room, hypothetically, or into a place with like a James Harrison and some old school guys, I don't know that he would play well to them, but I think he would have to earn their respect, because if you look back at Manziel, when he was off the train, guys like Joe Thomas and other veterans on the team were like, "Guy, you either got to stop or
figure
get
it out." Yeah.
You know, so I think if he comes in, he works hard, which apparently at Oklahoma he did, and plays well like he did at Oklahoma, people are going to love him.
Well, he's a walk-on, right?
He was a walk-on at Texas Tech.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a talented kid who's walk-on. He had some issues with some coaches along the way until he got to Oklahoma, and they pretty much were like, "Hey, go do your thing," and he blossomed. You know, you watch the bowl game; they end up losing, but he couldn't have played much better.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody could have played any better than he did at that moment. So he's fun to watch. I got to give him that. Do I care for the antics sometimes of showing other people up? That's not how I was taught, but that doesn't mean he's not going to win you football games. Right. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy watching him run around and make plays that I'm in awe of. Sure. After the play, though, I don't want him grabbing his crotch at the other sideline. I'd be, you know, like, because the thing is, too, is when you do that and you show the other team up, somewhere down the line, you're going to be in a position where somebody's going to make a run at you, and you're shortening your lifespan as a player. You put yourself in a room for injury, and if you get hurt and I don't go to the playoffs because you were acting like an ass, then I'm going to be pissed. Or if, you know, it's a receiver and the cornerback's pissed off, doesn't like what you're doing, takes a shot at your receiver, now I'm paying because you're acting like an ass. So, you know, I think he'll mature. I mean, the NFL is much different than any college locker room that he's going to be in. They're professionals. That's how they make your living.
And you're going to have bigger, older guys coming up to you saying, "Hey, listen, fall in line."
Yeah, check it this way and work out this way. You know, it's
either be a professional or get out.
And he's going to get older. Like we said, he's a young kid. You know, like who at that age, when you're young and dumb and full of cum, you're like, you know, you're just balling out. Like you shoot off at the mouth. You're just, you know. I think like
who in this room wouldn't want to be Baker for a date?
Right, exactly.
Did you see that picture he remade of
the Brett Favre picture? That was unreal. That was so awesome,
hilarious. I got to give that guy props for that.
So there's like a picture of Brett Favre like on his like bed in his parents' house, and all his whole family's around him. It's a draft call when he gets his draft call from Atlanta.
A lady with a 1994 VHS camera, you know, and everything.
And he's on the old like Zach Morris phone. You know, the old cell. That's the only way I could describe it. I wasn't around during those boys. Sorry about that. But the old like Zach Morris phone, you know, and he's like, it's like Leon. It's a really good
jean
picture.
Shorts. You know, it's
oh man, I guess
people behind him have like Sharpie written on their shirt, like the way Brett Favre's family did it and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So. Now, I mean, we might as well get right into this. I mean, let's go Cleveland at
my
1.
fucking God, are we really?
Let's do it. Let's go Cleveland at 1. What do we think?
I mean, does everyone know we're going to be here at 8:15? We're actually going to see.
We're going to see the first pick.
Yeah, we are. We're
going to see the first pick.
God, I'm so pumped. This is so great. What a great fucking draft this is.
I'm thinking.
Dude.
I'm going to go out there. I'm going to stick with my pick. You go with Barkley.
That's what they should do.
And I say go with Barkley because you could pick up Baker Mayfield at 4. Now you could pay. You're going to pay millions of dollars less.
I don't know if Mayfield's making it to 4.
He will make it to 4 because everyone's in love with Darnold.
So
I'm thinking the Jets are going Mayfield.
I think, and that's what everybody seems to fall in line with. If I were them, you know what? He is the best player in the draft. When you watch him, he has that wow factor. And you know you're going to get maybe Darnold, maybe not, but you're going to get a Rosen, and Allen's still going to be there. But I think that if I'm the Cleveland Browns and the Cleveland fans, you know.
I want my quarterback.
Now, what if they draft quarterback? Because I'm reading they're going to trade out of 4 at around their 4 pick. They're going to wait till then. What if they pick a quarterback at 4, trade out with a team that has 2 draft picks, so they get 3 first-round draft picks? How insane would that be?
Kevin Costner did in the movie. Right?
I just watched it last night.
Just watch it in the movie. Why not?
Just watch it last night again for like the 15th time.
Come on, you never know.
Shit, I didn't watch that last night. What am I doing? That's a one dig for you.
Sprinkled a little magic and that was the last successful anything the Cleveland Browns had was that movie.
It's true.
If they go Barkley, they get the best player. I think the Cleveland fans, who, if you've ever been to a Cleveland game, are the most loyal. I've gone to a couple Steeler games, and the Steelers beat up on them, and I feel bad.
They have to be loyal if they're still fans.
That's what I'm saying. I feel horrible sitting with these people as my team's crushing them. Like, normally you'd be like, yeah, and I'm sitting there going, oh, man, I'm sorry, guy. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
Another 4-win season.
Caleb, listen, you might know the difference. Like, what's the difference between a quarterback going at number 1 overall and in price as far as a wide or running back?
Well, you're going to get to. It's going to be about the same. It's going to be about the same value, but your rookie contract will be about the same. So now you're going into the fact of this is going to be a bargaining chip once Barkley. If you go Barkley 1, right?
I think a quarterback would demand a higher price
because the NFL has become so slotted in their pick values.
There is slotting for each.
There's the most you can go up to in a pick because that was the rule. That's basically what you probably call a Jamarcus Russell rule. Yeah. Jamarcus Russell was really the last player where you
great pick right there, Raiders.
Where you could give the money that you wanted to a player. Now it's become slotted. A lot of sports have gone to that, but now what you look at, and this is not something any team's going to think about right now, but where you'll see the differential is that if you take like a Saquon Barkley at 1 instead of 4, now you're talking when he hits free agency, and if he has 3 good years, he now has. I've had 3 good years. I was the first overall pick. I'm getting paid. I am the best player there is. You look at it.
If they pick up his 5th-year option, they could get him for like 14 or 15 million.
Sure,
cheap on the cheap.
Here's one of the things that I've thought about, and no one else, even like on NFL, is really talked about. You take Barkley at 1, okay, he's the best player, and I would have no problem with them doing that. But like you said, 5 years from now, running back life span compared to a quarterback's career span is very, very short.
Yeah.
And, now at running back, they have Crowell's gone. They brought in Carlos Hyde, who's, in my opinion, has been a bust, did great at Ohio State. They have a need for a running back. He's not going to be there at 4. But they draft again at 33.
33.
I say
Michael, Nick Chubb. Yeah. There's other guys who are going to be
could go that far.
Trade your 4, and the worst-case Ontario you end up with is Mason Rudolph. In the beginning of the second round.
Who I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Problem with the Browns right now, if they take Barkley and say the Giants trade with the Bills and they take Darnold or Josh, any one of the quarterbacks, and they have a similar situation where they missed Watson last year, that is like a disaster
set
waiting
you back
to happen.
Another 5 years.
Yeah, but there's like 5 good quarterbacks that they're really.
I'd say there's 6. Well, I really would say Mason Rudolph.
Is very good.
I totally agree with you on Mason Rudolph. I think in any other class, he is way
Yeah. Right. In any other class, he's up in the top 3.
Yeah.
This one, he got a bad draw.
Who's at the 3 spot?
Jets.
Okay, they're going quarterback. You know.
Yeah,
that,
the
right?
Jets. Yeah. So the Jets basically take. If things were to stay where they are now, if you go Browns 1, Giants 2, Jets 3, okay. My theory is that the Browns, I think, at 1 will pick either Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold. Okay, if they take one of those two, then the Giants would either unless Buffalo.
They're going Barkley.
And Tom makes a good. They go Barkley unless Buffalo comes and gives you the house, because if you're the Giants, you have one of the best positions in this draft. And we'll get to this.
Cowgirl.
We'll get to this in a little while, just like the Bears. Okay, but if you're the Giants, you have one of the best positions in this draft, because you can either say, "Give me the farm," if you want your quarterback here, Buffalo. If you think that if you believe if Sam Darnold goes 1 and you believe the Jets at 3 are going to take Baker Mayfield and you want Baker, you got to come to 2, and you better give us the family farm and your cousins and your aunts and your grandmas and everybody's family farm.
I'm seeing shit about the Bears trading up now to get Chubb. I'm fucking my mind is blown right now.
But if the Giants, I think if the Giants stay, they go Barkley, which is a no-brainer, and then the Jets, which I don't know if I'm, as a Jets fan, I don't know if I'm fully bought in on it, but I think then they go Mayfield.
Right.
And then 4 becomes. If that's the way that goes, then 4 becomes even more valuable, because then that's where you have a bidding war for your quarterback.
But here's the thing with getting a quarterback at 1. They already came out and said that Tyrod Taylor is the starter.
Sure.
He's hands down. So now you're going to get a number 1 quarterback that's going to have to sit on the bench, that you're going to pay buku money, and all eyes are on her, and that's a shitty thing to do to Tyrod Taylor, for one. I mean, even if you take him at 4, but you're taking a quarterback at 1, now you're telling Tyrod, hey, you're limited time. You're lucky if you even make it through the season.
That's why picking Mason Rudolph later makes more sense, because you can get away with sitting Mason for a year.
And this is the best crop of receivers supporting cast that Tyrod Taylor ever had. I mean, you got Landry, you got Gordon, you got that what's that kid there, the tight end they picked up last year,
Njoku.
And now if you put Barkley back there, holy shit! Now you got a quarterback with some weapons, and he can run. And now you got a guy who can,
And you got a pretty damn good, as Tommy mentioned, you've got a pretty damn good 2-headed monster with Carlos Hyde and Saquon Barkley.
And a shitty head coach.
Well, Hugh is never digging him. If Hugh ever makes it to 500, I'd be shocked. But he's got to win a lot of games to even get there. But, you also got to look, Joe Thomas, the best left tackle, retired. Mm-hmm. If you get Barkley,
so they do need help.
I think you trade for, like Sil says, you got to trade for, get back so where you can get somewhere down the line an offensive lineman and a developmental quarterback. Yeah. Tyrod Taylor is in a bad spot, but hey, if your percentage in the Jacksonville game was above 30 and you weren't missing wide open guys, you'd still be the guy in Buffalo.
But who's the guy in Buffalo to play to besides McCoy? I mean, he was the only weapon
I honestly think if Barkley goes to the Browns number 1, which would not shock me, I think the Giants would make a trade with the Buffalo Bills.
I agree.
I think the Buffalo Bills absolutely love Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And I think they would make a move and say, the Giants, okay, your guy's gone. You don't want him, but you need a lot more help. The Giants need some help.
Yeah. They need a lot.
They don't block well, even though they signed Solder. They don't block well. Their defense is getting old. They need an edge rusher. So I really think that
you need to go back to Quentin. You need to go back to Quentin Nelson area.
Yeah.
Probably at 12, because the way we're shaking it out now in the quality of the 3 good secondary guys and the 2 good linebackers, Quentin Nelson could be, who is the offensive guard at Notre Dame. He could be the biggest slider in this draft.
Well, that's
depending on the way it goes.
Our buddy Dave Vanders is checking. He said, "I like to have." He's a Browns fan, if you could believe it. I like a QB at 1.
So he's the guy.
Yeah, he's the
one. Listen. God bless you, man.
And he's a Raiders
You're a true fan. So when they make it, that's the beauty of being a true fan. When they make it, when they do get there someday, you've earned it. You've earned having a good time.
Yeah, but you know what sucks about that? When the Bears went to the Super Bowl against Indianapolis, all of a sudden everyone's like, bandwagoner.
Yeah.
Like, motherfucker. Yeah. All those years I had to eat crow and freaking sit there and, like, getting our asses kicked. Screw you, I deserve this. So
Watch backwards Paul Ettinger kick field goals.
Yeah, right. But he's saying he wants a quarterback at 1 and then Chubb or Nelson at 4.
And that's where they could replace.
And they could shake things up.
What do they need a guard for? They need a no tackle.
Well,
so
Thomas
they could get McGlinchey or McGlinchey.
That's a reach at 4, though.
Yeah, it is. It's a big
reach at 4.
That's why I'm like, if they trade out of 4,
but
they can get their fucking cake and just fucking lather it all over their body.
Another team that falls in at 4
if
too.
they draft Barkley.
You know, Jets are going quarterback.
They are. Yeah, the Jets don't. You don't trade up to 3 not to go quarterback. You if there's 1 left, if there's 3 left of the big 4 now we call them the big 4, I guess. But if there's 3 left of the big 4, the Jets make their decision out of those 3. So 4 then becomes your pick for a quarterback. Now we talked about teams a few weeks ago.
That's where Browns can pick up Baker Mayfield. I think.
Well, I don't think he's going to be. I think the Jets have already made their mind there. If you're gonna go quarterback at 4, the only guy it makes sense at this point to sit behind Taylor would be the Allen kid, because he's not quite as polished as Darnold or Rosen, and you're certainly not going to sit Mayfield because the fans aren't going to let you sit Baker Mayfield.
You come out to see Baker Mayfield, yeah.
You know, poor Tyrod's going to get crushed if it's Mayfield who he's starting over. So if they go Barkley at 1 and they're still at 4 and Josh Allen's there, then maybe that's their guy. But I would trade. I agree with Sal. You have so many weaknesses. You've won 1 game out of last.
You can
32.
And you can go back.
It is, isn't it?
You can go back too if you're looking at quarterback.
We didn't even get out of the first pick.
Well, because you know what? Here's the thing.
It changes everything.
In the past, if they were sold on Darnold, in the past teams would go and say, "Listen, we're taking you. Let's cut a deal right now." And they'd already been negotiating the contract.
Yeah.
So even the Browns have some doubt as to what they want to do. Otherwise, they would have, made a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unfortunately, knowing the Browns, they could take Quentin Nelson at 1.
Exactly.
It is the Browns.
And then there'd be Cleveland bonfires. The jerseys would be.
Is it me or does everybody else want to punch? Like Darnold has that face that you just want to punch him. He looks like the bad guy in every '80s movie.
He's a USC quarterback.
It's kind of like Step Brothers when Rob Riggle goes, "I just hate your face. I just want to."
Right? He's got that face. You just want to punch him in the face. I don't know why.
All right, so we're all in agreement. If the Browns go, the Browns go QB, Giants are going Barkley. If the Browns go Barkley, then the
Giants trade out immediately. They can't get off that pick quicker.
Do they grab Chubb?
The Giants have phenomenal fourth quarter numbers.
What do they need to draft anybody?
The Giants. If Barkley, if by some act of God Barkley does go 1, the Giants can't move fast enough to trade that pick to Buffalo, and Buffalo picks their quarterback that they want. Buffalo will go up to 2 if Sam Darnold is not 1. They go up to 2, and I could even see Buffalo still going to 2 if Sam Darnold goes 1 and they really want Baker Mayfield. Then I could see them going to 2 as well. I do not see the Giants making that second overall pick.
Not if Barkley.
You don't see him if Barkley's there?
No,
I think they take Barkley.
I'm with Chicken on this.
I think the Bills, and I think the Cardinals.
That's the other team I was going to talk about.
Have a window where they're talented enough to win if they get the right guy. They might be sniffing around, going, "Wow, we have our pick of quarterback. Let's move up." And the Bills would have to fight it out with them. I think the Jets are staying put and taking whoever falls to them.
Yes.
I think they want Mayfield.
They moved up there on fucking purpose.
Yeah, but if they don't get Mayfield, listen, they have them slotted so that there's certain can't misses for them, and I think they're taking a quarterback regardless.
Yeah.
And if Teddy Bridgewater works out, great. That gives them a nice trade piece down the road.
Right.
So
or good, competent backup quarterback, or a guy to start off for the
so they learn. I mean,
Right.
look at what it did for someone like Rodgers in Green Bay.
freaking.
And I really think that Josh Allen is that guy. I don't know that he can come right in and win, but I think if he were in the right system with the right guy teaching him down the road, he's going to be a stud.
It would probably benefit more to fall.
Watching Josh Allen at the combine and some of the passes he was making just made me blown away with him. I don't know if you watched that at all.
Athletically, he's ridiculous.
He can just drop the ball. It's unreal.
Made you just want to eat a whole pineapple in the morning and go hang out with him in the evening?
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But here's the thing. You watch.
Alrighty then.
You watch him play. We're in a business where we're up later. You watch him play in that Mountain West, and there were some games where it's like he wasn't very impressive. Athletically, he is. He can move. He's big. He's strong. Kind of, athletically, he's amazing. But he was missing some wide open guys. So he needs some work. Honestly,
he's raw.
But very raw. But raw is talent.
I like it raw.
And I think the 4 spot. I think when we were talking about the 4 spot. So I think we kind of
we're up to 4 now.
We see where the first 3 goes. If we're at 4 now here's my and TP brought it up perfectly. I think is if you're the Browns and I'm Arizona and one of the 2 quarterbacks I like is probably still going to be there in one of the 4. I'm going up there and I'm getting them because if you're the Browns, you can take right in that area, right in that neighborhood where Arizona's going to pick is going to be Orlando Brown or one of the other good tackles.
Orlando Brown. Listen, I'm calling it right now. Orlando Brown is not going in the first round. And I'll tell you why. I can bench 225 more times than he can, and I'm over 50.
I'll throw a flag in his eye.
If you are 6'8", 325, right, you automatically you should be able to bench 225 more than 14 times. This guy did not get prepared for the combine. Yeah. So I'm going to invest the first-round money in a guy who knew the biggest day of your life is right around the corner.
Yep.
And I'm eating chips.
I haven't seen one thing about Orlando Brown being in the first round.
No. Is he physically gifted? Yeah. His dad was named Zeus. Obviously, his dad was a pretty good player. But his dad wasn't, Anthony Munoz.
His dad wasn't Orlando Brown, the one that got the flag in his eye?
Yeah, exactly who he was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I get it. I know what you're exactly. I remember him getting hit in the eye, and he's like,
remember that game
on the field.
I don't blame him. I mean, that's full of. That was, and it did do some damage.
Great aim by the referee.
Yeah, but that's the guy you want to hit, right?
Yeah, right.
That's not the guy you want to hit. Guy.
He was huge.
And so is his son. His son's talented. His feet are great. All this, but we go back to maturity and being a professional.
Sure.
If I'm a GM, guy, this is the biggest day of your life.
Yeah.
Put the chips down, put the soda back in the fridge, and go outside and run a little bit. Go to the weight room and lift.
Yeah.
You had the lowest number of reps for one of the most important parts of the combine. You ran slower than anyone else.
Did he get beat out by the one-armed man?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that kid's amazing, by the way.
Griffin.
And I'm really rooting for him, and I hope he has an
unreal.
incredible career. I mean, he's really shot up the board. But
Speaking
Orlando
of which,
Brown
JPP's
is not
gone
that guy.
JPP. He's down at the Tampa now. I got to say, give a little up to Nick Pasalacqua for legal help quick. You better call Nick. Call attorney Nick Pasalacqua and team at Pasalacqua Associates 315-500-NICK. CNYtriallaw.com. Wow, I can't fucking talk.
Freaking terrible.
I got UC mouth.
Check it. That was totally priceless. It's just like a priceless inspection. You want a good quality home inspection that's priceless? Call Josh Amodio at 315-525-8725 for your next home inspection. In-depth and detailed reports, thorough inspections, and he pays attention to details. Josh has been in the construction business his whole life and knows the importance of a quality home inspection. Call Josh before you put your home on the market. Looking to buy a home, or do you just want to update your home? Josh can do all that for you. Just call him today at 315-525-8725.
Show off.
Nice. That was good. That's good stuff right there. All right. He did his homework.
Yeah, he did. You don't have a UC mouth like I do.
He's been driving around the car all day going, Josh Amodio. That's sweet, kid. I like it. Holy cow.
I'd have to say that was priceless.
Yeah. So I'm going to put it out there. I think the Browns, like Mayfield, but after what happened with Johnny Manziel, they're not going to take him. I think Barkley would be a good spot, but if you look long term, I think they're going to go Darnold.
See, I just think they took too many chances at
one. Oh, we made it all the way.
No,
one and four are interchangeable.
I'm just going my point. I'm going. I'm going. They're taking Darnold. The Giants
are going. So you're saying they stay put,
and the Giants go with Barkley, unless somebody comes up and offers them a ridiculous
which makes
amount.
sense. I mean, okay, let's say the Cleveland, for the sake of getting on with the show, let's say Cleveland stays put and picks a quarterback.
Okay, they go Darnold. That's where we're going one.
Oh, because you got to take him off the board at that point.
We'll go the safe pick. We'll go Darnold 1. Then we go Giants are taking Barkley at 2, definitely. Jets then go Baker Mayfield at 3.
Yeah.
Giants at 4.
No, Cleveland at 4.
Cleveland at 4.
I agree. I think they trade out.
Yeah, I think they do too.
And the Jets, like I don't know if any Jet fans are piping in, but the Jets, if I'm part of the Jet front office, I go to bed at night and say thank you God for the Cleveland Browns Because if it wasn't for the Cleveland Browns, they would be one of the laughing stocks of the NFL.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, it is. It's a media hub, and it's just so magnified as opposed to Green Bay. And the only reason Green Bay's on any fucking map is because of that cockhole, Aaron Rodgers.
Is that how you really feel?
Yeah.
Oh man, he's a good quarterback though.
Yeah, no, I've heard of him.
Yeah.
So or Cleveland, even Cleveland, you wouldn't fucking hear of them if it wasn't, their shitty just fucking history. But New York Jets, New York Giants, it's a media hub.
Oh, absolutely.
You're under a microscope when you play there, definitely.
You are.
And that's and you can see the media effect of playing in New York, just based on his last few years in New York weren't that good, but Mark Sanchez, okay,
right.
His first few years were very good. Butt fumble happens. He was on his downturn kind of then. Then the butt fumble incident happens. ESPN shoved it out down our throats in the not top 10 for 365 straight days, and he's gone. So it is tough to play there. That's what worries me. Is Mayfield the fit there? Could Mayfield last?
Well, listen, here's the thing. I'm going to go back to Mark Sanchez. If you look at Mark Sanchez, you look at what they did to this poor kid. That was the worst receiving core, I think, in the history of the NFL. There wasn't a qualified receiver on the team.
Lost all credibility. He just got busted for PED, so he's suspended for the first next 4 games.
Yeah, but you know what I give him a lot of credit for, though, is he became a mentor.
Yep.
He took on the onus. Is like, all right, well, you know what? I'm not the starting quarterback anymore. I can get a job, kind of like Chase Daniels is with going to be with the Bears now. He helped with Dak. He helped with Trubisky. They credit him, and the same thing with Josh McCown. Josh McCown is a good backup. He's a good teacher, a leader. He knows he's not going to be the super guy.
He's going to be the secret. He's going to be the secret to whichever quarterback goes at 3. Josh McCown will be the secret to their career
if they're not an asshole.
I agree. I'm gonna put it out there that we talked earlier. It's a business. So if I'm the Giants, I take Barkley, and then the Jets come back with Mayfield. They share the back page.
Yeah, they really do.
Now, if the Giants go Barkley and the Jets were to take Quentin Nelson, Barkley's all over the back page. Quentin Nelson is on page 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So it's still a business. They got to sell tickets. I mean, the Giants are forever sold out, but Barkley brings an energy. They sell more T-shirts, ticket prices. I think some of the tickets were going for like $8 at the end of last year. That doesn't happen if Barkley's on the field.
And Giants are thin at wide receiver, so picking up Barkley can actually help alleviate some of that. And they might even grab Dak. Dak might want, or not Dak, Dez.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, man. Him with Odell Beckham.
Yeah, that'd be pretty special.
Lot of ego right there.
Yeah.
More so, and like you had it with Marshall, but I think Marshall's a way better quarterback than Dez ever was. I mean, like we said, you're in your 8th year, and you're going to you're actually seeing route running specialists for the first time ever in your career. That just means you never really try to craft your skills.
No.
So I think the Giants definitely have – if Barkley's there, they have to grab him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they do too. I think that it just makes sense because I think he's a game changer in this draft. Like I said, then quarterback. And I personally believe that if Cleveland doesn't move out of 4, which they're going to get the next best offers from the Giants at 2, if Cleveland doesn't move out of 4, it would make their defensive line unbelievable. I could see Bradley Chubb here. I could see Bradley Chubb at 4.
I agree with you, but I look at it that somebody is coming in.
They have to.
At 4 with Josh Allen, with Rosen.
To help you fix more of your holes.
With
Giggity.
What people look for, right? what people look for, is that quarterback. You cannot win with Blake Bortles took a Jacksonville team pretty far, but he could not take them all the way because he isn't talented enough. So somebody's coming up, whether it's the Bills, who I think it'll be, and when you look at Cleveland's roster and Cleveland goes, all right, we want Bradley Chubb, and we put him on the other side of Garrett, and now every quarterback in the division is got somebody else to worry about. That's great, but then there's also pass rushers later in the draft if they were to back out and trade, say, with Buffalo, so Buffalo can come up and get Josh Allen. I think they trade with Buffalo at 4. I really do.
Get 12 and 22.
Or 12 and another
12,
second.
22 and 33.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with that?
Nothing wrong there.
Yeah.
Well, like going down the
That's
line
rebuilding a team. That's rebuilding a team.
Well, going down the line here, after
and they got the cash. They got the cash to do it.
After the Browns at 4, right? You got Broncos. They're not going quarterback.
They may trade down.
The Broncos at 4. That's interesting because
I think they got a wide receiver.
If they have somebody who falls to them that they really like, obviously, kid from Memphis didn't work out last year. They may take somebody, but I don't think they feel like, we got to absolutely have someone.
No, see, and that's what I agree. I think they're going to probably go wide receiver. They had a lot of drops.
Which going wide receiver, I think
they could trade down and get Ridley.
I think
I'm
that
seeing
allows
Ridley
you
going down as far as 24.
I think if you're the Broncos, then that's where you trade out, and I think that's where you might see you could see if you and I think TP put it well too with Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a developmental project. I could see the Dolphins coming up to 5.
Yeah.
And taking Josh Allen.
Yeah.
There's another team out there that's been rumbling around, and Drew's getting old.
He's going to go with the Saints.
The Saints,
they're looking to move up. He's not joking. Yeah.
If you see somebody sliding back that you have an opportunity to get and it's not going to cost you a ton.
I think they're going to go after that Jackson kid.
Then they're going to I have him on my board. It pains me to say this because year after year they beat my Steelers in the playoffs, but I think he's going to slide all the way, and the Patriots are waiting.
Yeah.
And just
the Patriots are up to something. They got 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s.
Yeah.
They're going to do some damage with those.
Love taking.
But looking at this list, okay, so you got Denver, not quarterback. Indy, good chance of taking a quarterback. You don't know what the fate of Andrew Luck is going to be, but there could be a trade there. It could be an Andrew Luck trade, maybe. Something to that effect.
But here's the thing about Andrew: they still have to pay him.
Traded?
Why not?
You've been drinking all day, haven't you?
Why wouldn't you trade him? He hasn't played in almost 2 years.
He hasn't thrown a ball in the team's OTAs. I mean, it's
right. There's no scout on him. You can't. Who knows?
If they can pick up a quarterback right then and there,
trade for a guy.
No, I'm not. Maybe not.
There's not one fucking team who would trade for him.
There is.
I'm gonna tell you.
You're going to take a chance.
Bridgewater's on a team right now.
On a number 1.
Bridgewater's on a team.
Because he's only been out. He's
2
thrown
years.
the ball.
He hasn't been played in 2 fucking years too.
Yeah, but at the end of the season, there were workouts that you could tangibly see him as an NFL
but he
quarterback.
Wasn't half as good as Luck.
No one's had a physical with him. No one's seen him throw a football.
Technically, I'm half as good as Luck right now.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you at number 6, who they take will tell you where Andrew Luck is. If they think his career's over, they may just be sitting saying, at 6, we're going to get somebody.
Yeah.
If they don't go in that direction, then they think he's going to be healthy and he's going to come back.
See, because then after that, you got Tampa Bay. They're not going after quarterback.
Tampa Bay's going secondary easily.
Bears aren't going quarterback. San Fran's not going to quarterback. Neither is the Raiders.
I think it's 7 or 8, or 9, because they don't need quarterbacks. If there's somebody that a team absolutely loves, they see him start sliding.
Trade.
At 7, 8, 9, maybe even at 10. I doubt it at 10. But in that mix, those teams are set at quarterback, and somebody else is going to see, all right, say Rosen sliding. I think he's the best thrower of the football in the draft. He's a little quirky, but that doesn't mean he won't end up being the best quarterback out of this group. Mm-hmm. And if somebody absolutely loves him, because all it takes is one guy to fall in love with a quarterback, etc., and somebody's going to move up and take him.
Yeah.
That's it. Like most of these guys, Arizona's back there. They're around 15, so they're the team I think can make a trade with those teams that you were just mentioning.
I also think it would. I think it's another good point to think about too. Is you have a lot of times in the draft and in a draft room, and I've seen this in baseball, and we can't trade in baseball. We can't trade picks during the draft, but you see a lot of times where you might just, if you're the Saints and all 4 are gone, you'll see teams go up and just be like, hey, Lamar Jackson's our guy. We aren't going to wait.
Right.
We aren't going to wait. Let's go up. Let's go up and trade with San Francisco at 9, who San Francisco could use another 3rd, maybe, or a 4th round pick or a 2nd round pick even. Let's go up and get our guy. We're not going to let him. We're not going to because we don't know what's going on in the other draft rooms. We don't know what everybody else is going to do.
Right. Yep.
So let's go up and get our
teams
guy.
Teams will go up and take that chance because now it's justified.
Yeah.
Because there's no other quarterbacks
because
on the board.
When push comes to shove and you're on the clock for that amount of time, you've got to make your pick by the end of it. And if you can't come to a consensus and or you have come to a consensus, and you're like, oh, well, Lamar Jackson's our guy, and you start hearing rumblings about Arizona, and you hear that Arizona might have a deal on the table to go up, and they want to, or they might want a quarterback, and they might like Lamar Jackson. Well, now if you're New Orleans, well, shit, we really like Lamar Jackson. We saw a lot of good things in his pre-workouts.
Yep.
Let's go and get him.
Well, it's something like that, 4 of them going in the top 10. Which is going to happen.
5 could even.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying it's going to push Lamar Jackson up. It may even push Rudolph up into the first round.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
think
now the
you're
chicken's back.
absolutely right.
Dude, your left nostril, it's waving at me.
Oh, man.
Hi.
Oh, boy. So, but I think Indy trades out because I think Indy has so many holes at 6 that they trade out to get more picks to fill more of those holes. That's just my personal.
You think they trade out of 6?
That's
I think
what
they
real
trade out of
friends do.
6.
They let people know.
I don't know. I think and the whole world.
Well, like I said, at 6, it's going to tell you how Andrew Luck is doing.
Yeah.
If they stay and they think they can win, you'll see them take Nelson. If they think Andrew Luck is a little bit ways away, they may trade out. If they take a quarterback, it tells you Andrew Luck is.
Am I the only Brissett?
Career
is
is
he
over.
retarded?
No, but
I mean, he's
just not the
he's
future.
some
I don't think Jacoby Brissett's the future.
Although they do need,
I would think
they do
he's okay.
They do need some defense.
Yeah,
they really do.
Oh, they need somebody who can rush the passer.
And
Is
some
Chubb
old,
still there?
And some old line help.
But
I mean, Brissett seemed like he was under fucking fire every fucking down.
Is Chubb still there? If Chubb's still there, maybe that's your pick. Who
They
knows?
got to decide whether like Nelson, who on some boards is the best player in the draft,
Yeah.
or they like Chubb. You
got to remember
another team with
Frank
a
Reich's
lot.
coach now.
There are a lot of There's a lot of holes there as well.
I got Nelson going to Indy. That's my pick.
So
I
do
think
I.
Nelson's going to Indy.
And I like that pick because I think you're right. Frank Reich is an offensive guy.
Yep.
Offensive head coaches usually go for offense. Defensive head coaches usually go. And when there's 2 guys on the board, we're taking the defensive guy for defense.
But I kind of feel like because Frank Reich is the new head coach, and Andrew Luck is the old regime, so is Brissett is the old regime. Like he has no loyalty to them. I feel like Frank Reich might want that quarterback that call his own, that he could develop under. While you still got Brissett
I
there.
think Brissett's young enough where he just.
I just don't think he's in love with Brissett. I think he wants.
I'd be honest with you guys. I don't think Jacoby Brissett's a factor at all. I think Jacoby Brissett is just is a career.
He's
backup.
a bridge guy. Like he's a guy that could like help him along.
I see what you're saying though. He played for them. He started for them. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I just think he's.
Who's that? Curtis
His
Painter?
old line
who else are gonna...
sucked ass. And their defense sucked. He's not the reason they lost last year.
No, you're right. I agree, and I think they take Nelson as well. And if you see them take somebody late, like a Falk or the kid from Richmond, that might be in play to get somebody in camp to compete. But
yeah, a late quarterback.
I see Nelson or Denzel Ward.
Gaffney's saying he's the Bills taking Josh Allen at 5, like making a trade with Denver, which could be pretty possible.
Could see it.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that
because whoever Denver's going to try getting, they could probably pick up at 12.
Are we all pretty much in agreement that 1 to 6, you think that the 4 quarterbacks will go?
Yes.
Do we think all 4 will be gone?
Yes, yeah.
Because there's going to be deals made.
Yeah, there's going to. I don't think the teams there currently are they going to be the ones picking them. I think deals are going to be made.
I agree. I'm telling you right now, somebody is in love. If you watch him throw, somebody's in love with Josh Rosen. They cannot wait to get to him.
Yeah.
I
think the Bills guy is Josh Allen.
Cocky quarterbacks got something.
Yeah, if you've been to, people don't realize this, and that's part of what Cleveland has to consider as well. I think all of us have been to a Bills game. It's up on top of that hill. The wind is blowing. You cannot have a guy, and that's where Fitzpatrick had an issue. You have to have somebody who can absolutely throw the football.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Brees would not be successful at the Buffalo Bills because his arm strength isn't where a Buffalo quarterback needs to be. So they got to get somebody who's big, strong, and absolutely fires it, and that's Allen. But somebody in this group, somebody is going to move up to get a Rosen kid because when you watch him play for UCLA, he can throw the ball.
I agree.
So I agree. There's going to be a bunch of trades early, and if somebody starts slipping, there's going to be somebody we don't expect. Maybe the Saints, maybe even New England with the reserve picks that they have, they move up to get someone that Belichick really likes to succeed Tom Brady.
And then trade him for another 2-pick.
You know what? I don't doubt with this guy's track record, whatever he does, I'm in agreement. Although I think, letting Jimmy go to San Fran was a long-term mistake.
And he was pissed off about that. Like, that was Tom Brady saying, I'm not ready to retire yet. Get this kid away from me.
Yeah, it's kind of like, exactly. Like,
I think the Bills are going to move up. They're going to either move up with the Giants or Denver. I think those are the major trade partners right there. And they're going to say, fuck it. And they're going to do like a la Mike Ditka style. And they're like, we got our guy Raups. Gone.
Yeah.
Got what I wanted.
Yep.
Sold the farm.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
I'm going fishing.
I'm telling you, though, too, I can't stress it enough. I think this is going to be the wildest first 10 picks in a draft that I can remember ever seeing. I think it's going to be unbelievable. So.
I totally agree.
Just from the trade posture.
I'm just excited to. I haven't been so excited for the first pick because usually it's been a done deal.
Yeah.
Even the first pick is up in the air, and that is not usually the case. So I'm excited. I think 7, 8, 6, even as early as 4, you're going to start seeing magic happening, like some stuff going on.
I think you might see it at 2.
Shit you wouldn't expect.
Yeah. And there's some talented guys out there, but are you really, if you're a fan of, the Bears, you're thinking, well, we can get Denzel Ward or we can get the kid from Iowa late as a cornerback, and then we can get 2 picks in the second and third.
I am not into Denzel Ward at all. I
Really?
feel we've got
think
2
he's
solid
good.
cornerbacks. We would be getting them for depth. I want the 19-year-old linebacker out of Virginia Tech. Edmonds.
The Trayman kid?
That kid's flying up. He's going to be a good player for a long time, barring injury. And
I have the Bears slotted in to pick Quentin Nelson. All right, but I think he could be off the board by then. Okay, I understand.
They would have to move up to get Nelson. That's what I feel.
I could see him there because I think above anything else, I think the Bucs are going to take Darwin James. He's a safety.
Yeah.
I think
here.
he's gone.
Yeah.
I think that pick. I think that's that's like the only pick. If you were to ask me, like, hey, what pick are you most confident about this draft? That's the pick.
That's
like,
the guy.
Tampa Bay picking Derwin James. Yeah,
that's the guy. That's
I did my
the
mock
guy.
draft this morning, and I'm like beating around, and I'm like, well, and that's because I could see.
Well, Andy picking Nelson. That's where I'm solid too.
I could see you on that, but I mean, I was looking at all these other picks, and I'm like, okay, like when I was going through, I'm like, okay, I think this is going to get traded. Like right now, I'll tell you right now, my mock draft, I have Mayfield 1, Barkley 2, Darnold 3 to the Jets, 4 I have Bradley Chubb. 5, I have Rosen to Denver. Don't think that Denver makes that pick. Actually, I think it could be the Bills.
Yeah,
like Tommy said.
Mm-hmm.
I have 6. I have the Colts taking Josh Allen, which I don't think that's the Colts quarterback. I think that's the Dolphins quarterback.
I don't see the Jets or the Colts trading out of that.
Then I just think the Colts have a lot of holes that they could use other picks to fill in.
That makes sense.
Then I have
Sounds like my mom.
Derwin James. I have Derwin James at 7, and then Quentin Nelson at 8, and that's kind of as far as we've
who do you have
gotten,
at 7?
So. Derwin safety.
Yeah,
so do I.
So that's kind of how I saw it going. And like I said, when I was doing a lot of that, I mean, I spoke it out just a second ago. When I was doing a lot of that, all I was doing was like. Because this is when you do it on NFL.com, you get points for how far away you are from like the pick that actually was made. So me and my buddies do like a league for this, like 2 of my other buddies. Yeah, we do like a league, and so if you're like 2 picks away, you get like 25 points.
All right, bonus points.
Exactly. So yeah, so that's where my thought process was because I'm like I don't see like I could say. Okay, Josh Rosen is a Bill at 12, but he ain't going to get picked by the Bills at 12. If he's going to get picked, it's going to be by the Bills way up higher, So that's just where I really see this. I just think...
So we all think the Bills are trading.
I think the Bills are coming up at number 2 and taking Josh Allen. I really do.
Yeah. I think the Bills... to be honest with you, I think the Bills already have a deal in place to make this deal already. But I think the Giants are sitting in their draft room saying, and I agree that they could go up to 2 if that's their guy and they really want him. I think the Giants are sitting in their draft room, and I think the Giants are in one of the tougher spots because they're sitting there looking at each other. It's like, okay, we have a lot of these holes, but man, we can get a perennial Pro Bowler for the next 7 to 8 years, perhaps what people have called the best all-around player to come out of the draft in a few years in Saquon Barkley and an offensive threat for us, I think that's going to be hard for them to sit in that draft room and make that decision.
I'll tell you what, if I'm Cleveland and I go Darnold number 1 and the Buffalo Bills come up and grab Allen number 2, I'm sitting there going, I'm going to get Saquon Barkley at 4.
Yeah.
And
that's unbelievable. That's unreal. That's unreal.
That's the draft day movie, right?
Yeah.
Have a big party. We're going to the Super Bowl. They actually might.
So So I mean,
Barkley flips to goes all the way down to 4. I mean that's.
But it would take. But still, it would take one pick. It's not.
You're right. You're right. It takes the Giants to
But I think if Giants,
it's not a domino effect move. It's hey, here's the one move that has to be made, and if they're calling, if I'm John Dorsey in Cleveland, I'm calling New York and Gettleman in New York, and I'll be like, please make the trade with the Bills.
Yeah, but
please
the Bills have anything else to trade? I mean, they've been trading.
They have 12 and 22. 12 and 22, and then a second-round pick, and I think they have
They got 2 seconds. They got a 12, 22.
12, 22. They got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 thirds.
Yep.
They have plenty.
Plenty of room to move.
That's movement pieces.
And I really think, like I said, they are going to move up. I mean, A.J. McCarron, is that their guy? The first... when they line up.
They need a QB. He's there.
Not on a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Not on a 2-year deal.
I'm saying. So I don't see them. They're not settled there. I see them moving up. And if that happens, and I'm the Cleveland Browns, the Jets, I think it's a done deal for Mayfield.
Yeah.
Unless the Browns take him up on top.
Then they take Darnold.
Then they wait for Darnold.
Or if you're the Jets, you're okay. You're okay with what happens because I think the Jets value. I think it would be the Jets if they had their option. It would be Darnold, Mayfield, and then you know what? Hey, we'll take the consolation prize of Josh Allen if we have to. Go right ahead.
I'm seeing,
come on in. Come on.
I'm seeing Mayfield at 1 right now.
Yeah, I mean that's
that's trending. I think, and I think that's part of Cleveland's got some.
I'm really hoping it's part of the shit vine.
Yeah, they're trying to just stir the pot and say, hey, Jets, if you really want him, then come and get number 1 overall, and then we'll get a quarterback and get Barkley somewhere along the way somehow.
For the Giants to let up Barkley at 2 is just retarded. I don't.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same
with the needs they have.
I mean, I can see if Buffalo pulls their pants down and really offers them something good. I could see the Giants
you have to do it.
You have to do it because you got a lot of holes to fill, Giggity.
If you can get 12, to be honest with you, I would ask for more. But if you could get 12, 22 in a second, I mean, if you're the Giants, you can't turn away from that offer. Yes, Saquon Barkley is the real deal, I believe, but you always have to remember that you're also going back to every one of these things is a projection. I would rather have 2 to 3 guys that are projectable than one guy that's very projectable.
Do you guys see Arizona making a play?
I think Arizona's coming up to get Josh Rosen. I think they're going to come up. If he's still there at number 8, the Bears have no interest in him. I think Arizona comes up. I think the Cardinals they have a window where I think they think they're still talented enough to win.
Yeah.
And
you have to believe.
You're saying they're not? No.
I mean, when you're sitting in there, it's kind of like Caleb would say with baseball now. The Astros have made it so that some teams just go in the tank. And some teams, I look at the Colts and I'm like, wow, you need a lot. I look at Arizona differently because I think with the right quarterback, they think they can win the West.
Yeah.
So, and I think they look at Josh Rosen. He's a West Coast guy. He plays in good weather. He can hum it. He's the best passer of this group. Whether he's the best overall quarterback, we'll find out. But I think they need to make a deal to come up and get a quarterback.
Yeah,
and
I really do too.
I don't see the Bears looking at a team that has needs elsewhere. I don't see them taking a cornerback at 8 when they can get more later.
That would allow the Bears to go and get 2 premium position players probably because you'd probably get a second. And even next year, then you're already starting to look at next year.
At that point, if the Bears trade out, McGlinchey, OT, from Notre Dame comes into play. But,
that's a great call.
Let's say the Bears go Denzel Ward at 8. I see San Fran definitely going Edmonds at 9.
I agree with that. I agree.
See, I have.
You don't think San Fran wants a wide receiver for their new quarterback?
Well,
I don't see a wide receiver in the first 4 picks.
I don't see a wide receiver that good enough to go this high. I think my landing point for Ridley, just to give you an idea, and I have him really high, and maybe I don't know. You guys can elaborate on more where you might have him, but my highest landing point I have for Ridley is at 14 with the Packers. That's like the highest I'd go, and I'm most comfortable seeing him going 24th to Carolina. Those were my fits on him.
Going back to
I got him at
the
15.
San Fran move, I mean, Edmonds is flying up the board. He's a talented kid. But the charges against Foster, there's talk that they're going to be dropped. If they're dropped and he's able to come back, now their needs change.
Now we're going Minkah
So
Fitzpatrick.
then maybe if they know he's coming back and he's cleared, then maybe Ridley's to play, which I think is a bit of a reach there. But maybe that's the play. Otherwise, it's got to be Edmonds.
I mean, who's their wide receiving core right now at San Fran? I mean, nobody that really sticks out. I mean, Garceau is even there anymore.
They won 5 games in a row, but
well, Jimmy G under center.
I mean, you're going to want to put some weapons around Garoppolo.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to help him, but I also think it goes back to that. Okay, well, I mean, let's look at it this way. Okay, let's throw everything out right now too.
They don't have a number 2, right?
Marquise Goodwin, Kendrick Bourne, Maxwell McCaffrey, Taylor Trent.
So nobody.
If
Victor
you're Arizona
Bolden Jr. and Aaron Burbage.
Arizona at 15. Arizona at 15. Why not go up to 9 if one of your quarterbacks is still there? 15, you still get Ridley, I think.
At 9, yeah, you don't have to move anywhere. I think Ridley easily.
No, I'm saying go back.
Oh yeah, you could go back. You could go back to let Miami get ahead of you.
Yeah,
I know.
Go back to 11.
You think Miami might go for a QB though?
Yeah.
Miami. Yeah. They definitely could go QB.
After the 49ers' first pick, they don't pick again till 59.
Oh,
so
yeah, you want to stockpile.
That makes
now.
that pick that much more valuable for them.
Yeah, that's a huge point. So now either at that point I'm making my best value pick, I'm making the best player available pick. If I'm John Lynch in the 49ers, because I think that you could take any player who's best available and plug and play him anywhere.
They're not good enough to pick best available yet.
I think they are. I think that the best available player there would. I mean, let me put it to you guys this way: like, here's a name. Here's the name that we have. We've talked a lot about this, and I mentioned him once because I think he's going to be the 4th pick. But you guys have let this guy slide. That's Bradley Chubb. If he's there at 9, you take your best available.
He could go number 4.
You take your best available.
The Bears could move up to grab him.
Sure.
Fuck yeah. If he makes it out of the top 5,
so
I'll be surprised.
If he's there, now here's the thing. Now if we've watched this shakeout and we've got the first 6 picks, we've got 4 quarterbacks, an offensive guard, and a running back gone. Okay, 7, Derwin James. Now we're looking at 8. The Bears are on the clock. All right.
If
they take Chubb, probably if he's there.
Yeah, they take Chubb.
And 49ers take Chubb if he's there.
I don't know. I think
I'm taking Chubb. Man, Chubb is the best defensive player in this draft.
At that point, is as much as Edmonds is my favorite. If Chubb is there at 8, you take Chubb because there's more immediate upside.
Yeah.
To him being on the field.
Best available.
You can always pick up that linebacker in the 2nd round.
Yep.
Or you come back in, so. But I mean, for argument's sake, I have San Francisco at taking Minkah Fitzpatrick, the the cornerback from Alabama. The safety.
I got him their 2nd possible pick. Yeah.
And then John Gruden's. Now we go on to John Gruden's first ever pick.
Roquan Smith, outside linebacker from Georgia.
Roquan Smith. I could see Roquan Smith also going to Chicago.
You got to remember, John. They already have Mac. They have weapons. I think he goes with.
They got Aldon Smith too, right?
I think
McClinchy, offensive lineman.
Yeah, I think he either goes with him, or I think he likes the Miller kid out of UCLA. But I think he's going to get a tackle. I think when he looks at his team, he's got a franchise quarterback in his opinion. He's got a Pro Bowl receiver in his opinion.
2 now.
The only thing, yes, 2 now.
Jordy Nelson's over there.
The only thing keeping him from really going forward is the offensive line. And I think he goes there first, and I think he thinks he has enough on the defensive side of the ball to wait later because I think he thinks there's value in defense later down the road.
And which is smart because that's usually been their handicap is their defense. I mean, now they picked up running back Doug Martin.
Yeah.
So they got Doug Martin, Jordy Nelson. They still got beast mode right there.
Well, their signings tell you their
defense.
They think they can win and win now. So I think he wants to wrap.
And I think I don't know if it's I think it's a win now. I think it's a win now mentality, but I think it's also a we're winning and then we're going to keep on winning when we get to Las Vegas. I think that's what that franchise, not only what that hiring says, but I think also just in general, I think that's what they have to do.
So you said winning in the Raiders in the same.
Yeah,
sentence,
well,
right?
I mean, they're coming. They're coming.
How you like that, King?
I'll tell you this too. I made my Dolphins pick at 11. So I actually had Denzel Ward going to Oakland, cornerback.
I had Charlie Ward going.
Charlie Ward.
Charlie when he was on the Knicks for a while was still the best quarterback in New York City.
Yeah, he was too.
That's sad.
It's like the two best quarterbacks ever to come out of New York State is what? So we've got Charlie Ward and Greg Paulus.
Greg Paulus. His brother Mike was pretty good for North Carolina for a little bit, but
who's that?
Greg's brother Mike.
Oh yeah,
North
Mike.
Carolina.
Yeah, CBA boys.
Yep. I mean, you get to the Dolphins.
I have them making this pick. I picked the pick that I had them making, but I don't think they make it here.
I think they stay with Tannehill.
Oh, yeah.
They lost Sue, so I think it's either
Vita Vea.
But who I like better than him is Daron Payne. But I mean, I think one of those two guys go to the Dolphins.
Where's Payne out of?
He's out of the Alabama.
School of Hard
Knocks. Is he out of Alabama? No, I have Vita Vea too. Vita Vea too. Yeah. So I love that guy. Watching him, Schefter him and Schefter had like a meeting and like he wrote down his entire name on a napkin for Schefter. His name is like 5, like because he's
Hawaiian.
Yeah, Polynesian. So like they're like his name is literally
like
5 lines long.
Yeah,
like
whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it's just no, it's even longer than that. It's like 6 or 7 like words
letters
long.
Words.
Yeah.
Wow, fucking letters.
Yeah. So. But yeah, I like I said, this is we're getting into the territory like we're getting into 11 to 15 territory for me, and even up to 17.
Can you grab me another water?
We'll say 11 to 17. Like I could see 4 to even 5 of those teams, even 6 of those 6 out of 7 of those teams, going up and looking for that quarterback.
At 12, I think the Giants are going to be drafting at 12 because I think the Bills are going to go up to number 2.
Yeah.
And then I look at Arizona. Arizona's not going to be – I think the Bears are going to be drafting at 15.
Mm-hmm.
And
I like that,
and honestly, with the Bears, if they're looking deep back, my favorite player in the draft on the defensive side or defensive backfield is a Fitzpatrick kid from Alabama.
Yeah.
So you don't think that Denver's going to be a trade partner with somebody?
That's tough. I mean, if Denver being a trade partner, I think I wanted to get your thoughts on this too, Tom. But I think Denver being a trade partner, I think Denver's fate at 5 rests on what happens at 2.
And I guess if you don't, and I guess really if Indy's, if you have the inclination, Indy's going for a QB, then you might want to jump ahead of them. But if Indy's not going for a QB, then you really don't have to touch it all the way until you get to Oakland up at 10. Because none of those guys are going quarterback.
Yeah, but you're also worried. There's also
leapfrog you too.
There's also 30 other teams. You know what I mean? You're also worried that they might.
I'm looking at the list and like, you know, you got. Okay, we'll go down here. You got Washington. No QB. Green Bay, absolutely not. Baltimore, maybe if somebody's there, like, but they're not going to move up.
Baltimore, you know what?
Green Bay going quarterback before I could see Baltimore.
You know what? No, you know what Baltimore
Seattle,
is?
Well, Green Bay just made the deal for Kaiser, so
yeah.
Oh yeah,
that doesn't make a ton of
you're
sense.
Right, you're right.
And with the Broncos, I thought maybe Allen might go there, but why do you pay Case Keenum that money?
Yeah,
if
and not even give him
gonna,
a chance. Yeah.
You know.
And then you got Cowboys, you got Lions. Cincy's the only one at 21 that I see really making a play for quarterback. Because then you got New England at 23. They might, but I think Belichick will just sit there at 23 and see what he's got left.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'll tell you. I think I see Baltimore and San Diego, or sorry, not San Diego. The L.A. Chargers, the soccer stadium L.A. Chargers.
I literally went, who?
Yeah.
Who? Wow, I'm used to L.A. Chargers now. All right.
I see those two teams as having a need soon to be at quarterback and having that need for a developmental quarterback, but I also see them saying, like the kid going after late in the draft, like the kid at Richmond or the Falk kid from Washington State or something like that. I see them like, hey, you know what? We do need a quarterback in a few years. Like maybe next year or the year after, we'll need to draft a quarterback. Let's see if we hit lightning in a bottle like the Patriots did with Garoppolo. They draft a quarterback late, so I don't see those guys moving up. But I do see them as quarterback needy teams.
I could see the Chargers in round 2 at 48 taking a quarterback.
Right. Developmental kid. Wow, you can't fucking talk.
I see them looking at their defense is vastly improved. The receivers are coming. Phillip Rivers is still a quarterback who could win you the Super Bowl.
Sure.
I think they need somebody on the defense or offensive side of the ball on the line. So I could easily see them taking a tackle or a guard, the top offensive lineman at that spot.
Can I throw a curveball?
Yeah, go ahead.
Does anybody think that the Pittsburgh Steelers might make a play with Le'Veon Bell?
I'm a huge Steeler fan.
I don't think he moves in the draft.
They don't traditionally make deals. I don't think that they plan on making a deal, but I could easily see them picking a running back.
Yeah.
I think their first pick is going to be a linebacker.
Linebacker, yeah.
The best kid who's
Carter
on the board
Evans.
at linebacker. I mean, Shazier was amazing. It's unfortunate he got hurt.
Terrible, yeah.
But it is a business. We got to replace him. And so, but I do see them taking a running back in the second or third round that'll be able to come into camp and compete. Running back, we talk about Elliott and now Barkley, but otherwise, you're getting someone like Walker late in the draft. You can catch lightning in a bottle at that position.
Jordan Howard was what, 5th round?
Yeah.
Fourth.
You can find value. You can find value in every pick. It's just how much do you believe in a certain guy? You have to find a guy you really like at that spot and hope he gets to you at that spot and develop him. That's a Jordan Howard type guy. You don't, it's a lot of guys there's guys that have that in the tank that got passed over, but you have to find the right spot to take a guy like that, So it's a chess match.
Well, I just didn't know
this whole process is such a chess match.
I just didn't know with Le'Veon Bell not want to play with his franchise tag that maybe they could work out a deal.
I will tell you my bold.
I don't think they're in any position.
My bold prediction, and this is not bold at all for the NFL draft. I don't think that any players move tonight. I think it's just straight pick trades. I don't think even though in the last CBA, as we've talked about on the show before, even though in the last CBA it got a lot easier to trade players for players or players for draft picks.
So no Earl Thomas trade tonight?
I don't think Earl Thomas moves. That's a good point.
Tom Belford just talking. He said that the trade talks with Earl Thomas and the Dallas Cowboys are really heating up.
And they very well could be. So I could be wrong, Tom. Tom would be right. But at the same time, I don't see a lot. I mean, here, if you're Dallas,
those are tougher because you got to work out numbers immediately.
Exactly. And if you're Dallas, you just shed $8.5 million in the Dez contract. You want to take the $8.5 billion on that Earl Thomas's contract is? That doesn't click with me to do that.
They're not freeing up enough. They were $300,000 in the hole. Okay, so they just dropped $8 million. Now they're $8.3 million out of the hole to sign a guy at $8.5.
Yeah.
Now they're $200,000 back in the hole.
If you're talking, If you're talking, we're winning now. If I'm Atlanta, okay. Just lack of a better example.
Okay.
A win now team.
So you're going to fall apart at the end?
A win now team. Touche. A win now team, though. A win now team. And you said, all right, we'll give you Earl Thomas. And if I'm Atlanta, I'm not trading 26, but I'll give you my second round pick. Yeah, I'm making that trade because I'm a win now team. But if I'm Dallas, like the forecast in Dallas is like
Dallas thinks they're a win now.
The
team.
forecast in Dallas is like 50 and cloudy right now. You know what I mean? It's not 70s and sunny. You know, so I'm not all in. I'm not going Earl Thomas. Let's do this. I'm all in on you because I know I'm going to have to re-sign you in 2 years.
Earl Thomas, I don't think they're going to trade out of the first. I don't think Earl Thomas is going to demand a first-round pick.
Oh, absolutely
not. So later on, I mean, like the Steelers don't have enough draft picks to really make that kind of deal. And then somebody else has got to sign and pay. So if there was going to be a Le'Veon Bell deal, it would have had to have happened prior to tonight, in my opinion, because there's so many dollar things with the cap that you would have to figure out. Somebody would have to sign him and guarantee that he's not going to do the same thing to the team they trade him to.
Yeah.
All right. So where did we leave off?
Can I fuck everyone's head quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Everyone's okay. Ian Rappaport just tweeted out. Ian Rappaport, who's NFL Network.
Yep.
All right. Kind of up there with Schefter, but Ian Rappaport tweeted out, Giants have been set on making the pick at 2. Could they rethink it? I'm told the Broncos are expected to explore trading up from 5 to 2.
Ooh.
Possible early fireworks. Quarterback would be the target.
What? Those Broncos are assholes.
Now there's your first bomb. Here comes the bomb.
What the fuck is that shit?
There's rumors that they absolutely love Josh Allen.
That could be it.
You know.
Yeah, but he'll still be there at where they're at now.
I don't know if he would.
I think the Bills. I think they're worried the Bills are interested in making
but like
that
you
move.
said, why do you go out and get Case Keenum?
Bradley Chubb could be there at 5.
Yeah, but why go out and get Case Keenum? Like, if that's your point,
well,
I think it's one of those things to get a scare tactic. So, like, now the Bills are, like, really got to up their ante. I think it's just all bullshit. I think it's one of those things.
You're right. It just blew our minds. What's Buffalo doing right now?
Oh, we got to get up.
The potential. Now, Buffalo's asking price. That tweet was probably sent out by the Giants to Ian Rappaport saying, let's scare Buffalo. They want to go up to 4.
With 14 minutes. Go.
You're now looking at something potentially where the first 4 quarterbacks could go the first 4 picks, and at 5 the Giants still sit there with extra draft picks and get Saquon Barkley.
No, that ain't happening.
How?
Happening.
Why wouldn't it?
Because if Barkley's still there, the Broncos are taking him.
They could.
If Barkley's still there, Broncos are taking him. Absolutely.
But they want their quarterback. They
got a quarterback. They have no running back. They just let Anderson go.
They as far as I'm concerned, they don't have the quarterback that they want. Case Keenum is a filler.
He might be holding the job for a guy like a Josh Allen. I think you might be right. If I'm Cleveland, I'm like, whoever I take number 1 at quarterback, I'm loving the fact that somebody wants to come up and get that Giants pick because I know they're not getting Barkley. I know the Jets are going to go after a quarterback. So if I can get Darnold and Barkley, that's great. But if you look at the Bills have the most equity. They have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and a 4th.
They're the team I want to deal with.
They hold the cards if you're looking at the Giants opposed to Denver. Let me see what.
If I was Cleveland, I would deal with Buffalo. I really would.
And that's where Buffalo goes for because they can give Cleveland a bank. They can give them. They can give them the payday.
2 firsts and our second.
A second and a third. Give me a second.
Give me your second and your second third.
How bad do you want it? That's the trade negotiation.
I would trade the number 4 for your 2 firsts, a second.
But if Broncos are making that trade, I think they might still pick up Barkley because if they think the Browns are going quarterback, then they could leapfrog, get into there, grab Barkley, grab the guy. Because now, Case Keenum, everyone's saying, well, he's a bridge quarterback. He was a Pro Bowler last year, man. He went to the NFC Championship game. He had that great play against fucking Drew Brees.
But that was one time.
It was one season, but like he's also a guy who's got some experience. But you put a great running back behind him.
When you have C.J. Anderson, you don't necessarily have to.
He's gone.
I'm not. No, he's still with Denver.
He got released.
Did?
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Yeah. So now they got that need at running back.
But I think
C.J. Anderson is great. But
I think for the sake of his job, Vance Joseph also is saying, "Give me a developmental quarterback." Because that's the time period of a job.
You don't get a developmental quarterback at 2.
Yeah, you do. You get Josh Allen.
You don't.
You aren't plug and play. If you're the Broncos, you don't plug and play.
And look at all the
heat
that the Bears took last year for taking Mitch Trubisky. Everyone's like, "Oh, you don't take a guy like that."
Well, wait till Case Keenum has his Mike Glennon when he sucks because he will. He will.
Case
Keenum had his Mike Glennon.
He played under Mike Glennon,
and then he'll have his part 2.
I think Case Keenum's a decent quarterback. I think you put some talent around him, he's going to be okay. But if you put a running back like Barkley behind him,
takes a huge load off his back.
Huge load. Giggity. So
Denver's not that far removed.
Me?
Denver's not that far removed from the Super Bowl. They're another team like Arizona who thinks we're a few pieces away.
They got that defense.
Yeah.
So,
Now,
when
when you got a strong defense like that, what do you want to complement it? You want a strong running game.
Yeah, Barkley's amazing, but boy, you're paying a lot for a running back when, they don't at 40, round 2, pick number 40, they could get a very good running back. I don't know.
It's a strong running back draft.
So right now, Adam Schefter is reporting teams are contacting the Vikings, the Patriots, and the Eagles to get back in to the end of the first round. So we may see a lot of second round picks going from teams that originally had them.
Belichick's center going, he's having 2 firsts and 2 seconds. He's loving it right now.
Rubbing his wiener on McDaniel's face right now.
Even if he doesn't trade those and keeps them, come on, he picked up Tom Brady, sixth round?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an aberration.
But he does it a lot.
You get a Russell Wilson a little later, you get him a little later, but
who's the running back right now?
And there's a bunch of bust. You know what? When you look at he picked up Burkhead. This guy thinks outside the box amazingly.
I do all my thinking.
That's why I think he gets those diamonds in the rough, and he can actually mold them into his own.
He's got a ton of equity in picks as well. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the first 100 picks. That's
he's loving that.
That's a Super Bowl team with 5 huge picks, so he could do a lot. I don't know. He might shock everybody and move up and take a quarterback.
He very well could be, and that could be his compensation for losing Garoppolo.
But the sleeper of this draft is, in my opinion, or kind of like what makes everything go is what happens with Lamar Jackson. We haven't really talked about him. Is he Deshaun Watson? Is he the guy that all of a sudden everybody's like, wow, how did we not see this guy?
I think he's a guy kind of more like Deshaun Kaiser. I see him at. He's got some skills, needs some little development, sit behind somebody for a little bit. That's why I think if he goes to New England or New Orleans would be a great place for him to sit behind Drew Brees and with Sean Payton as your quarterback or your coach. I think that'd be a great place for him to go, or sit behind Brady with Belichick, and later on maybe Josh McDaniels. But I think that's the best place for him to succeed in what I'm looking at here is the teams that might need a quarterback.
Did you just take a picture of me?
No. He took a Snapchat. He put little bunny ears on you.
No.
It's all flash in front of my face.
One of my best friends in college is actually tuning in because he just texted me and said every time he watches video of Rosen, he falls more and more in love with him. He's a college football coach too.
He's my personal favorite.
Yeah.
If I had to draft a quarterback, that would be the guy.
He said he loves this kid. So he every time he watches him, he's like, I fall even I'm like.
Does he want to punch Darnold in the head too?
No, not really. But he's an offensive line coach for a school in Pennsylvania, I think Waynesburg State. So
Waynesburg
he wants to punch every one of his players in the head. So yeah.
See, Caleb, that was a movie back in the day. It was Waynesburg.
Oh, was it before 92?
You were probably conceived to that movie.
If it was before 92, I wasn't around.
Swing. Sure, somebody was doing chicken head to your dad in a movie theater driving.
This shit's gonna get wild though, guys. I'm telling you, this
dude, we got
draft
fucking 7 minutes.
Is gonna be nuts.
Let's go.
It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be nothing we've ever seen before.
Oh no. I was at the draft when Minnesota fucking didn't put their pick in, and 3 fucking teams ran up to the podium. Yep. I was at that draft live at Madison Square Garden. That was crazy shit, but I am expecting that kind of crazy shit tonight.
And then they did it again.
Yeah, and then it's right. And then they did it again.
Hot lunch. I think so, if something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen within the first 4 or 5 picks. I think that's where you see the most movement.
And I'm glad we're going to be on the air when we see at least
find
the
out
first pick.
what they do, what the Browns are going to do. Man,
if we run a little late,
You know.
It's going to be...
Hey, Chip, I might be late tonight.
There you go.
He'll
be home sleeping. He won't notice.
Yeah, he won't even know. He won't even notice.
So what do you guys think the Dolphins are going to do? You think they're going quarterback maybe? Or?
No, Vita Vea. I think Vita Vea there.
Yeah.
Washington.
So yeah, because Bills aren't going to stay there, and if they do, they could go Lamar Jackson. Is Rosen still going to be there? Edmonds, they're going to have a lot of options.
I'm surprised they don't. They have needs here. Listen, for Washington is defensive tackle, cornerback, and linebacker. But
Darius Juice.
I think they would need a running back. But I see them maybe needing a wide receiver because who do they have right now? Terrell Pryor left, right?
Okay, so this is where Ridley comes in.
I think that's a good choice where Ridley comes in, or a tight end. Well, they got 2 decent tight ends. I'm
thinking you do.
Thank you. I've been working out. I did squats today or yesterday. But I'd like wide receiver at this pick. What do you guys think?
I'm not. I don't think any wide receiver in this draft is going higher than 14 at least.
Yeah, but your Redskins, that's a huge.
I'm thinking Darius Juice at this point.
Geis.
Juicy.
Geis, you mean?
Is it Geis?
I think it's pronounced Geis.
Yeah. It's very French Canadian, by the way.
So you're used to Beetlejuice.
Use? Is it?
I actually saw him in person. I went to the Citrus Bowl. Took my son. He's talented. Size-wise, he isn't as impressive as Barkley, but he's going to gain a lot of yards. He's quite a weapon. I think they need a tight end, but I don't know any of the tight ends go this early. I don't know. Losing. You get to this point, a lot of teams go best player on the board.
Green Bay had some needs, especially.
Are you talking about Green Bay, or are we talking about Washington?
I'm
Washington.
Jumping up.
Roquan Smith.
He's saying at this point. Well, I'm saying Green Bay definitely needs defensive help. You can go Fitzpatrick or Mike Hughes, a cornerback out of Central Florida. I think Green Bay definitely has a need at this point, not more of a best player.
Oh, I agree with you on that. You look at Rodgers, he gives you a chance to win every single year. Cobb, down year, you get rid of Nelson. I wouldn't be shocked if they went receiver here.
No, I wouldn't either, but I think their defense is porous. I really do.
Yeah, they just picked up
they get the D lineman, yeah.
And I think they picked up a corner. So
I don't think 2 players make it, but they got Ha Clinton Dix. You
just like saying that name.
He's funny.
No, I could see Roquan Smith here too. I think Roquan Smith is going to be a guy who falls. I think he could fall pretty far in this draft too. I'll tell you, in my opinion, just to give my kind of sleeper picks who I think are going to have really, really good NFL careers, don't sleep on Billy Price, the center from Ohio State. I really like him. All right, I think he's going to be a guy who's like the next Nick Mangold, type who just retired yesterday for the Jets, and the tight end from South Carolina, Hayden Hurst. All right.
Yes. Oh yeah.
He's going to be a dude.
Atlanta or Detroit, I got him going too.
The kid from Penn State's been flying up the board as far as tight end.
Gesicki?
Yeah. One of the tight ends I really like is the Andrews kid from Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
I can clearly see my Steelers in the second round.
This is one of the heavier tight end drafts, and we're talking about 3 of them.
It is pretty solid. You're right.
There's some talented tight ends there. And I look at running back too, and it's like all the lights are shining on Barkley, but
this is such a deep class.
There's some good,
such a deep class.
Georgia alone has 2 guys who could go in the top 2 rounds.
I am turning on CBS Sports Live right now, so we can. We got 1 more minute till the draft kicks off. I'm hoping this works.
You know who else too? Who's the second best wide receiver? Who, I don't think is Ridley, but if you're a team, you'd be more than happy to put him in the slot. Is DJ Moore? DJ Moore is a guy. I think he could really help a lot of teams.
Way.
He's a dude.
He's a dude. And we also have Eric Reed's brother could go in the first round tonight too. Justin Reed. So a lot of some connections there too. But Lamar Jackson, I think I will make the prediction that I think 5 and I could even see 6 quarterbacks going in the first round today.
So which team are we on right now?
We're not on really any team.
Oh.
We're just kind of
yeah.
moving around.
We made it down to as far as I think we kind of touched on 14.
14. So we would be at 15, which is going to be a trade out pick because I don't think Arizona takes that pick.
Let's go back to Green Bay. I think they're going to take the Landry kid from Boston College. I think they go receiver.
Yeah, Harold. Harold Landry.
That would be my pick for Green Bay.
You got
I agree with that. I could see them going defense as well. I just think that at this point, they're going to want someone who you can throw the ball to.
Excellent. I think you're right too, because you say, well, a quarter. Let's try that again. A wide receiver in this draft, you're not like too high on, but you got to remember when you go to a guy like Aaron Rodgers,
he
that
makes
wide
the guy
receivers,
better.
way better. I mean,
Cleveland's on the clock.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Cleveland is on the clock. So I'm gonna lock it in right now. I'm gonna say this is Baker Mayfield going off the board here. All right. I don't care what anybody else says. I do care about what everybody else says, but I'm gonna lock in with Baker Mayfield here.
I would love to see them take Barkley, but I think they go the safe route, and Sam Darnold is the number one pick.
Sam Darnold is the safe pick.
I'm going Barkley.
Sam Darnold pick.
Attaboy,
Sam
chicken.
Darnold is.
I'm going to be the renegade here.
That is the safe pick here.
I'm going to say Barkley, and then back at 4, they're going to take a quarterback.
Yeah.
And if they don't trade 4 out.
I'm going to stay for like the first 10 picks. So I don't know, boys. I think this is going to be a really exciting first 10. After the first 10, it might slow down a little bit, and you get in. All right, yeah, he's going where we thought he's going, but first 10 might be the Wild West.
Yeah, it's going to be. This is going to be something, and like I said, buckle up because this is going to be like nothing we've ever seen before in the NFL draft.
I think your first 5 is going to be like the craziest.
I'm a real big believer in that. So, I mean, things could quiet down, and it could be Darnold.
See, I think it all depends on the first 2, the Giants in the Browns
change
set the
everything.
tone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Once what the Browns pick will dictate what the Giants do, and then because if Barkley's there, I think the Giants take Barkley. If not, they trade down.
My son, who watches the NFL Network more than anyone else in the country, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Here's his top.
Yeah, let's hear this. We got to hear this
10.
definitely.
Junior in high school, so he thinks Josh Allen goes number 1. Barkley is in his opinion, by far the best player in the draft. He goes number 2. He thinks the Jets will take Mayfield, but he likes Rosen more.
Ooh.
So he's got Rosen going to the Jets. Chubb to the Browns because with him and Garrett, they'll be scary bad or scary good.
Good, yeah.
And he's got Ridley to the Broncos. Not
Makes
sure
sense.
I agree with that one.
Oh, wow.
He has Darnold plunging down to number 6 with the Bills. Fitzpatrick going to the Bucks. Nelson going to the Bears, which is smart.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Since Long has had all those injuries. Smith going to Oakland. Davenport going to the Niners.
Davenport's a guy who shot up the draft boards.
Yes.
I heard people talking about him at 32 for the Eagles would be a steal. So him to go up that high on the board, I like it.
He wants me to mention that he thinks the Pats get a steal at number 23 because Lamar Jackson falls that far.
Yeah, it could be.
That'd be a good place for Jackson too.
He's either going to slide that far if Arizona can't make the move. If Arizona can't come up into the top 4 or into the top 4 quarterbacks, then he does. Then he slides. I think. Yeah.
I think Arizona's going to make a move to go after Mayfield. So we'll see. I just love all the different opinions. This is like,
dude, draft day. Draft day is one of the best days.
It's like, do you take Mike Mayock or?
I used to have big house parties. To the draft. Fucking great day.
Mel Kiper. I hate Mel Kiper. He just never seems like. I don't know. Like even when he's wrong, he'll make up some bullshit excuse why he's wrong.
Yeah, Mel Kiper.
Well, I just, they're relying on, unless they're intimate with the GM, they don't have they have as much fucking clue as what a team's gonna do because teams blow smoke up the ass, and my computer just fucking blue screened and shut off at the perfect time.
Oh man, what a letdown!
Your wife's like, yeah, now you know how I feel.
See what we can get here, man. But yeah,
so NFL.com also their live stream is not working. I was on.
Probably crashed.
Yeah. I
Tough
did
day for the
CBS
boys.
Sports and NFL Live. NFL Live is like, whoops, we're having problems.
I know Fox does have the draft tonight, so maybe they'll have
Fox Live. Yep. NFL Live is like, whoops, we're having problems.
Whoops.
Disruption Networks is like, whoops, we're having problems.
Look, we're all about disruption. I love disruption. Disruption.
Man, all those online sites crash. That's wild. People are pissed.
Dude, this is just saying that the NFL is still alive and well, regardless of people's political beliefs.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that is all dying down and just over with it already.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, let's stick to football.
Yep.
So hopefully that all drops away. And you know what? We're getting a lot of stars back. That's a lot of things people don't remember is there were so many injuries last year.
Yeah.
I mean, Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt, Merciless. I mean, that team's going to be completely different. Now you get the Honey Badger there. I think that's going to be a good team to watch.
Jason Laconfora, who is a pretty well-known football writer, says, well, it's finally time. The consensus is that Baker Mayfield is most likely selection here, but won't know for sure until the card is in. That's true.
Yeah,
you don't know in this draft. You don't know. You have no idea. You don't know. Goodell could go to the podium at any time and announce a trade that's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. So it's going to be. Whew.
You know what I do know? Is if you stop down to the showroom at 5046 Commercial Drive, Yorkville, New York, you'll see why it's easy to do business with Steve Ponte Volkswagen. Stop down and see him at, like I said, 5046 Commercial Drive, Yorkville, New York.
My God.
StevePonteVolkswagen.net. Sorry, wow, that's a tongue twister.
You know what we have not mentioned? Let's go around round tables. We're waiting here. Who's the biggest bust? Who is the guy who you're like, you know what? They love this guy. I don't think he's going to end up a player.
Darnold.
I came out and said you want to punch him in the face.
Well, I want to punch him in the face, but he reminds me of Jeff George. That could lose interest. That I'm too good for this. I'll go be a lawyer somewhere.
My biggest buster reward pick in this draft is Baker Mayfield. As much as I hate to say that, my Jets are probably going to take him if he doesn't go one. I'm very, very nervous about a guy like that. I'm very nervous. I don't.
I think he's a self-motivator. I think the kid's got heart.
Mine. I'm going to go back to Edmonds being 19 years old. He's got the greatest upside, but is it too much of a fucking payload for a 19-year-old to take in?
If he has to go out there and start right away.
Right.
Yes.
Or Quentin Nelson for you know what? He's coming out. He's the best. He's not even. There's no argument. Best offensive lineman to come out of the draft. And he's got a lot on his shoulders. What if he shits the bed?
And we've seen a lot of first round O linemen do that. Brandon Flowers. We see him shit the bed all the time. Because it's technique. You're going to guys who are stronger, who are faster, who watch your every single move.
I'm seeing Flowers that might be on the trading block. So.
Who wants him?
I know.
That's a revolving door.
Hey, can we get a 7th round compensatory pick for him? Maybe.
Guy's a revolving door.
Man, I am.
All right, so
Tom,
Cleveland's got 9 minutes and 46 seconds. They're officially on the clock as of this video. So who knows how long of a delay we have?
Right. Tom, who's your flop? Your bust?
I don't know. I look at some of the Alabama kids who year in and year out are, Alabama, and they just some of them just don't show up to play. I love Fitzpatrick, the defensive back, and I've seen Deron Payne absolutely dominate games, but I don't know. I Calvin Ridley is the guy for me. I'm not sold on. I think the first two I think are solid Alabama players. I think Ridley's overvalued. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good NFL player. I just don't see that. I don't see his value being top 20 kid. So I think I look back at last year like John Ross. It's pretty obvious to everybody now. Wow, guy can fly, but
Yeah.
He can't catch.
Yeah.
You know, Ridley's not that. He
Kevin
can
White.
catch, but
Kevin White was a.
it's kind of tough to judge him in the fact that they were so good. It was pretty easy. You know, his job was made a lot easier than maybe some other receiver.
You want me to change your mind about somebody?
Go ahead.
Where did Darnold go to school?
Sam Darnold went to USC, right?
Okay, when was the last time we had a good USC quarterback?
That is a really good question.
Sanchez.
You know, you look at, you know, Leinart bombed and so Darnold, I mean, of the quarterbacks we're talking about, the big six with Jackson and Allen and Rosen and Mayfield, all these guys, three of these guys, you know, if you go by the averages, three of these guys aren't going to work out. And three of them are going to be NFL quarterbacks. One of them may be a Pro Bowler. So, I mean, even with these guys, it's a crapshoot. So, you know, the biggest crapshoot of all of them, I go back to Caleb, is Mayfield. I mean, you look at Mayfield, he could be with Johnny Manziel, you know, looking for a job.
Or the Cade McNown.
Or he could be Russell Wilson.
Or this guy could be the next Russell Wilson. Yeah, he could be the guy that,
happy feet.
You know, you see him on TV on every commercial because he could be the guy you're like, wow, he's on tonight. I'm going to stay. Guys, I'm not going out. I'm going to watch Baker Mayfield play.
Yeah.
You know, he could be that guy. Or he could be really immature, alienate his teammates, not do the work once he gets paid and start going out and doing his thing. And, you know, shit his career away the way Manziel did. So, I mean, that guy is like, has an unbelievable ceiling, but he could also get a lot of guys fired. That could be the guy, if they take him one, could get everybody in Cleveland fired.
That's why I think it's so, like, sketchy to pick a guy, like, another quarterback number one after they had a list of all those quarterbacks, you know, like Tim Couch.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I will say this, and one of my buddies just texted me, Timmy Hodge, good friend of mine.
Hi, Tim.
Yeah, Timmy Hodge is out there listening to us.
Related to Merrill?
Timmy brought up one of
my favorites.
Timmy brought up one of the best points. Who wants to be the 29th different starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns since 1999? You will. I mean, Tyrod is probably it right now, but who knows if you go high enough for a guy that's ready to go right now, you'll be the 29th starting quarterback since 1999. Think about that. Let that sink in.
Dude, I'm a Bears fan. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're not far behind them.
Yeah, and you think about. I mean, let's go to let's go to the Patriots. We're talking about Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady. That's it. Since '99, those are the two.
Yeah, I think Bears had like 15.
It's nuts, man.
You look at Joe Thomas. That's one of his things. Does Joe Thomas retire if he's the left tackle of the New England Patriots?
No,
probably not. You know, but I'm with Cleveland year in and year out. I'm going, I'm winning one or two games.
See, and that's why I think, like, with Tyrod Taylor at the helm, you pick a guy like Barkley. You know, like, if I'm Joe Thomas, I might want to come back because now you got two great wide receivers on each end. You know, you got a quarterback who's decent, who takes care of the ball, and who can scramble. So
it's really weird that he retired. I mean, it's like, I understand, he didn't. It's rehab's a lot.
I get it.
It's like, and with his age and blah blah blah, it might just.
But
he doesn't want to play a step down.
I would take a declining Joe Thomas over like 90% of the
Oh,
I agree.
Sure, of course,
absolutely.
Same. I'll take him too. So
you know what I mean. So like for him to completely retire with this team that actually has some upside to it, and that's why I figure if you get a guy like Barkley, you only have to hold that block so long and that kid's out. And what are you going to do? You can't put 6 like 9, 10 guys in the box because you're going to get beat over the top.
Mm-hmm.
But they still are 1-31.
Yeah.
I know they're coming. You're saying they're coming, but they're not in a position where they're 2 or 3 picks away.
But you think a rookie quarterback's going to do that?
Making the quarterback. I don't think. Listen, it's frightening if I'm one of those if I'm Mayfield, any one of those guys, I wouldn't mind not being the number 1 pick. Let the Browns take someone else. At least the Jets won 9 games a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
If
they won 5
the Giants,
this year, right?
if the Giants were shockingly to take Rosen and he sits behind Eli, that's not a bad thing. That's a team that has a tradition of winning. Their front office is solid. But if the Browns take me, you look at it one of two ways.
Less than 3 minutes on the clock.
Beautiful. If the Browns take you, got to look at it two ways. A, I'm either going to be the guy in Cleveland, and I'm going to be the first guy that anybody talks about when they talk about Cleveland football, or, man, what kind of heartache am I in line for?
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is.
But if you flop again at that number one spot with a quarterback that you're paying buku money with, and then Barkley becomes the next Adrian Peterson, you flopped again.
The 1-4 is the future in Cleveland, regardless of the moves they've made and anything like that in this offseason. 1-4 will dictate the future. And four could be a trade because it could be more players.
Yeah.
And that's fine with me.
If they get Barkley first, 4 has to be a trade. Has to be. Because they can still have their cake and eat it too. And eat a fucking lot of cake.
Yeah, and in their defense, Garrett, we don't know what he is yet. He may be next coming to Lawrence Taylor. At this point, we still don't know because he got hurt. So their pick from last year really isn't. Everybody goes, "Oh my God, how do you not take Watson?"
Pick is in.
Beautiful.
Pick is in. Yeah, the draft room just went up. The Browns draft room is celebrating right now, so we'll see who this pick is going to be. This will be something, I'll tell you that. This is the future for the Cleveland Browns and the Dave Bandicks in the world. This is the future.
Banks is at home with his pants around his ankles.
This is going to be
Wiener in hand.
This is, in my opinion, this is going to be your quarterback for the next 10 years. So here it is. Here it is, Browns fans. Here's Sam Darnold or Baker
doing
Mayfield.
It raw dog.
Does Roger Goodell made the slow walk yet or no? Because he's always good for the real slow walk. So.
Yeah, who's getting the first hug of the day from Roger Goodell?
Yeah, exactly. That's a big one.
I'm here for the gangbang.
And then, and like you said, I think after this pick is made, we'll find out what
happens. This
unfolds everything.
Oh my God, he even stopped.
Where did the Giants go? He stopped halfway to the podium.
Well, he had to collaborate and listen.
Oh man, what an idiot this guy is.
What's that?
He said he had to collaborate and listen.
Right.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf!
So should I turn it up so we can get it live, or?
Yeah,
I've heard who the pick is already.
Oh, all right. Well then, Baker Mayfield. Are you shitting me?
It is Baker Mayfield.
My brother just checked in. Yep.
Baker Mayfield.
So that means Gents are going Barkley.
So that means that the Giants will go Saquon Barkley at 2 by all estimations.
Now the big question is, who do the Jets take at 3?
It's Darnold. Darnold is
it Darnold?
It is.
You can see. I mean, now this. I think as we talked earlier tonight, I think this really projects out our next 2 picks because I think next then you go. I think the Giants then go unless the trade winds are blowing right now, boys. The trade winds are blowing.
I'm glad they went
whispering winds.
Baker though.
Shit.
I'm glad the Browns went Baker. He's a kid that you could sit for a year or two under Tyrod Taylor.
He's going to say all the right things, but I wonder what he's going to do at practice.
I just don't think you could have picked him up at 4.
They could sit him for a year and not a problem.
I just think you could have picked him up at 4 still. I think if you.
I don't think he would have made it past 3.
Do the Bills go up to 2 now and take Darnold if Darnold's their guy?
That's a good question.
This is where
we are going to find out.
This is where shit gets crazy.
I tell you where I Cleveland on 2 things. A, they got a talented kid who could be by far the best player in this draft.
What's Dave
doing? Could be a bust, but you
Dave
know what they just did?
Huh?
The guy who makes their jerseys just got a hard on because
there goes
this kid's going to sell jerseys.
Right, yeah.
They're
Well, I think either way you went with it, him or Barkley, they're going to sell jerseys.
Tomorrow, their ticket office is good. The phone's actually going to ring. I don't think it's rang in a few years.
Cleveland needs that hype guy.
Yeah, the poor kid that's been in there playing video games, waiting for the phone to ring. Tomorrow he's going to need some help because Baker Mayfield is going to sell tickets. He's going to sell jerseys, whether he works or not. So,
think about that story too. Baker Mayfield was the 40 of his draft class, his high school senior class, 2013, I believe it was. He was ranked as the 42nd best quarterback in his draft, or in his high school class. Goes to Texas Tech, doesn't get the starting spot, leaves, walks on at Oklahoma, and becomes the starting quarterback at Oklahoma, and actually sat on the bench for a year at Oklahoma behind, I forgot who, I think it was Kenny Allen, behind Kenny Allen, I believe.
Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, Kenny Rogers.
He knows when to hold him.
He knew when to hold him.
Fuck you,
Was that Woody Woodpecker?
And now he is the number 1 overall pick in the 2018 NFL draft. That's a rise. Let's put it that way. That's a rise.
All the character issues that people complain about this kid, I think are going to be his strengths going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are going to look at him as a leader. I think of all those guys, he kind of gave that leader type vibe. So I don't know, Dave. You don't like it? Who would you want it? Who did you want? He's going to say Rosen.
I think he wants Darnold. I think Darnold.
I would have been okay with Allen or Mayfield. Honestly, Barkley would have been.
My brother's a big Giants fan. He's like, let's go Barkley.
Yep.
It has to be. This has to be Barkley.
If not, then you trade down with the Bills.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think Buffalo also sees.
Dude, here's that pick.
Oh yeah,
Brett
there it is.
Favre and Mayfield.
Yeah.
Nice.
I also think that you'll see. I could see this being where the Giants just stay pat. If the Giants stay pat, then Cleveland did themselves a great favor because 4 becomes that much more valuable. If the Giants stand pat at Barkley, then immediately the Browns will trade out of 4, and you're going to see somebody going up to get their quarterback at 4. That's just the way it is. You know the Jets are going quarterback at 3. They wouldn't have made the deal to go 6-3 if they didn't want a quarterback. So this is the best thing for the Jets right now. This is the best thing they could ask for. They get the choice between what they call the Hollywood quarterbacks. It's either Darnold or Rosen. So
you don't think the Giants aren't talking about Darnold right now?
That's it.
Eli's 37 years
That's
old.
That's a big grenade you're throwing in right there, TP.
He's 37 years old.
Could be it. I mean,
he's got at least 2 more years in him.
If Gettleman really loves Darnold,
get your guy.
Yeah, but
now they're waiting. There's discussion going on.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Now you pick up a quarterback
Pick
this
is in.
high.
Pick is in.
Is it? I think if you pick a quarterback this high, you're going to cause mayhem on Peyton or Eli Manning.
You're going to sell more tickets and you're going to have more jerseys printed if it's Barkley. New York fans can't wait for him to be in a Giants uniform.
What are you watching, Caleb? Because you've got to be a few seconds before me.
And they picked Barkley because my brother just said yes.
Saquon Barkley.
So
they got Barkley.
Saquon Barkley's at 2, so that means the Jets take Darnold at 3.
I mean, I thought he was the best player in the draft. I'm happy for the Giants.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable pick.
No.
It's an unbelievable pick for them. So I think the Jets in turn now will go Darnold. So,
of course, we were talking about college teams that just don't seem to turn out. You see USC
quarterbacks. They don't.
Penn State running backs have a history of
Curtis Enos.
Cleveland draft Chubb at 4.
Cleveland could, or no. Cleveland's going to get wowed by the Bills and have two more
Bills
first
are
round picks.
Got to do something.
Here come the Bills. This is scoping out exactly the way we kind of thought it was going to.
Well, Jets are going.
Jets are going to go
right?
Darnold. I don't think it takes long for them to get to the podium.
I think, and who knows? We may be sitting here if you guys invite me back in 3-4 years. Going,
probably not.
Wow, and I appreciate that. So thank you.
What a dick.
But he's right.
Don't let him in your bar.
Shit.
No, we'd love to have you back, man. You're the only one that knows what you're talking about.
But you look at it and
I didn't think that joke ahead.
It was. I like it though. I like to dish it out. I got no problem taking it. So, but one of the beautiful things is looking back and saying, oh my God, we were sitting here talking and this guy absolutely shit the bed, or this guy, wow, what a player. So, I mean, the Jets might have lucked out. Maybe in 4 years, the Jets are, Brady's gone. The Jets are winning the East, and Mayfield is playing the CFL. We don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but this is Sam Darnold. They're going to go get Sam Darnold pretty quick here. I don't think this is going to take long for the Jets.
Barkley does a Cooks and closes out his ACL.
And you know what, too? Like, we were talking a few weeks ago, like how once you get to a certain spot in the draft, you can't really make a lose-lose pick for your fans. Like, if the whichever of the I'll be honest with you, whichever of the three the Jets pick, I'm happy with. We Darnold's in our lap, but if you take Allen or you take Rosen, I'm not mad about it.
And they don't have
Go
to
ahead.
start. They don't have to start.
No,
I mean, you got
not at
two
all.
former starters.
No.
That I mean, you might start like halfway through the year.
Yeah.
Because you got two older quarterbacks.
Sure.
So who you're saying? You're saying
It's
Darnold.
Darnold. It's Darnold. It's got to be. It really has to be him. And I don't think the Jets really have another way to go besides taking him. I just think he's their guy. He's their guy, I think. You know.
Do you think they're fielding offers right now? Because
I don't think so because I
they're not
think-
already up at the board.
I don't think it's valued
I
as
don't
much
think-
because they traded up for
I was
it.
going to say, I don't think they traded up with Indy to get to
Right.
either Mayfield or Darnold.
They need a quarterback.
So I think Darnold is their guy. And he may not play right away either. If Teddy shows up and he's in good shape and he's
Well, and Josh
playing
McCown's
like he
out there
did,
too.
Yeah, so
It's only a 1-year contract for McCown, so he's not their future. He's
Right, and he knows that.
yeah, he's well aware.
He's a fill in place.
You know, he knew that back in the years with Cutler. You know, when he
5 minutes left on the clock for the Jets.
Think about that job. You're well paid. You're not expected to play, and when you do, if you play well, great. If you don't play, that's fine too. As far as a backup quarterback, it's a pretty good gig.
Yeah, we were talking about Baltimore needing a quarterback, but they got RG3. You know, like get him a couple years in a system where he has to sit behind. It doesn't have to be the starter. He gets to learn the offense. He's not the focal point.
Yeah, and he'll get more mature. That is definitely
RG3 is done.
A pocket passer offense, so he'll definitely get a chance to see if he can do it again.
And that's where Tyrod Taylor came out of too.
He was backup. Got his problem. I mean, RG3. It's really, we were talking about injuries. RG3 doesn't blow his knee out. Maybe Kirk Cousins isn't making this much money. Maybe he's still sitting behind him. So things happen.
Funny, I just watched a video of the Cleveland draft party, and they are pissed about Mayfield. No,
Really?
barely anyone cheered about Mayfield. Yeah, that's pretty wild. That was pretty weird to see. I'll tell you that.
It's kind of like when Philly picked up Donovan McNabb and they all booed.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm like, dude, this guy's gonna be awesome, and he was. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Where are my Jets?
I don't know about Hall of Famer,
Jets.
but he was a good quarterback for Philly.
Let's make this pick. It's easy.
So now Darnold goes here. Are the Bills
3.5 left?
Are the Bills talking to Cleveland right now?
Or the Dolphins, one of the two. I can see the Dolphins going up too.
No.
I think that if somebody's going to be partners with the Browns, I think it might be Arizona. I think they're the ones that Cleveland. Do you want to keep it that close, like a team like the Bills, an AFC team?
I would be shocked if the Bills don't make a move for 4 or 5 to get either Rosen or Allen.
They got to make a move here.
I would be shocked because if somebody flies in and grabs the guy they want, they're going to be kicking themselves in the ass for a long time.
Yeah.
And if you're Cleveland, you definitely get more bang for your buck if you trade down.
Just taking off a lot of time here for the Jets.
Very surprised. I'm very surprised this is taking this long for the Jets.
Yeah, I thought it'd be pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty
you
easy.
go like the
pick
ticket's
is in.
already
Just as we say it,
yeah,
pick
it's
is in.
Sam Darnold. Come on. I'll make the pick for him if they want me to. Come on. Let's go. So I also saw
Caleb up to the podium.
The draft's in Dallas this year, obviously. So Jerry Jones, so he doesn't get booed because he's going to make the pick, I guess, or there's some deal going on where Jerry Jones is going to be on the podium to make the pick. He's also bringing 2 or 3 legends with him, so he doesn't get booed.
No, that was so
for
Goodell
Goodell.
didn't get booed.
Oh, so Goodell
he
didn't
brought
get
up
booed?
some Dallas. It was on earlier.
What a nice little pussy Jerry Jones is, huh? Jeez. Fucking guy screws you last year with Zeke, and then you're just going to be like, oh, it's okay. It's all right, Roger. I'll help you out, buddy.
Yeah, well, they're making amends.
Yeah.
They're
You let me know when Sam
building
Darnold
fences.
gets picked. My phone died, so I just need
All
you
right,
let
so-
me know.
Oh, I'm it.
Here's what CBS put out there. Baker Mayfield.
Sam Darnold.
6'1", 215. Is he the pick?
Yep.
Yeah, Darnold.
Their guy goes, I just think there were better options, and it's risky taking a 6-foot quarterback first overall. So their first round grade already is a C. Baker Mayfield.
How tall is Drew Brees?
Wow.
How
haven't
how
seen
tall is
Mayfield has something to offer.
How tall is Russell Wilson?
So he comes out the Giants. I like the player and his skills, but value of position is a major concern in a deep draft for running backs.
Weird for Cleveland to screw something up in the eyes of other, I mean. I'm
just
okay
look at
with
Darnold, though. He looks like he wants a punch in the face. Yeah, we're running a little later than we normally.
I'm happy, man.
When we thought, but I just kind of want to see, if we get some major trades here.
Let's hang around for this.
Anybody sending in messages? Anybody?
Well, they're sending the picks right now.
I know my buddy with the Raiders commented that he likes Fitzpatrick for the Raiders, so I could see that there too. But man, I'm telling you, this is where the dominoes are going to start falling. So Goodell, I bet Goodell makes it to about 7 minutes before he comes out and announces that trade. He's got it's going to be quick.
Cleveland is on the clock.
Cleveland is on the clock at 4.
Now, the only guy I can think of, if they do hold on to the pick, it's got to be Chubb.
It's got to be Chubb.
Line him up on the other side of Garrett.
Be unbelievable.
And really get scary. But then on the flip side, maybe they win 4 or 5 games.
Weird. Jets fans seem to be happy, according to the video I'm seeing.
Thrilled. We wanted Darnold. That was the guy. That was the guy for us.
And that's the guy I picked to be the bust.
Darnold was our guy.
Look at that guy's face. Tell me you don't want to punch him in the face. Tell me he doesn't look like the guy to challenge you to a ski off on top of the mountain.
Yeah, he could throw the ball, so that's all that matters to me. So
he's like an 1980s freaking bad movie character.
Darnold, to the fact that a few weeks ago it was locked in, everyone thought, even though John Dorsey said he knew 6 weeks ago who his first overall pick was going to be, and that was Mayfield, because John Dorsey loves gunslinger short quarterbacks, aka Pat Mahomes, who he drafted in Kansas City. So I will tell you, Darnold going to 3 to the Jets is unbelievable as a Jets fan.
That's a good idea, Dr. Faggot.
Thank you. None of us thought that. None of us thought that was going to happen. None of us thought that was going to happen, and we are through the moon about that. I'll speak for all the Jets fans right now because I know we are. Fuck the liner. Fuck the Castle syndrome. Fuck the Sanchez, quote unquote Sanchez syndrome. We'll take our new USC.
Well, you guys had Carson Palmer. You know what I mean.
Oh, okay, we'll take.
That's probably the last good USC,
and that's fine with me. That's fine with me because you know what, Sam Darnold has proven that, not proven at the college level that he is great, but I'll tell you, he's an NFL quarterback and he will do well in New York. I really think so.
They're gonna make that helmet for him with that big old melon.
Yeah, we'll go right ahead, do it, because he's gonna be. I don't think he's under center next year, and that's the beautiful thing. I don't think he goes week 1 under center for the Jets. I don't think he has to.
I think he might.
I don't think he will.
I think he's the kind of guy that's going to put up a little hissy fit if he's not.
I really don't think
I tell you what, though, if he is, that means he's pretty damn good.
Yeah, that does mean
there's a couple proven quarterbacks in that camp already.
Yeah. If you beat Teddy B and Josh McCown out next year, then I'm excited. Fuck. I mean, you can't lose as a Jets fan right now. That's who we wanted. That's why
you always lose as a Jets fan.
But here's the thing. Everybody hated on the Jets for moving up to 3. They said, "Oh, now you're going to get the second best quarterback of what you wanted." Well, you know what? You know what helped us out? The media. They pumped Baker Mayfield. They helped Baker Mayfield get up there.
And it's only been the past few days where Mayfield just stock rose.
They hyped Mayfield. They hyped Mayfield up to go 1. And John Dorsey said it, and he told Jimmy Haslam, their owner, 4 weeks ago, he said, who his first pick was going to be. He told Hugh Jackson 2 days ago, which is funny. But that's who he wanted, and the Jets always wanted Darnold. So I'm happy.
2 weeks ago, Allen was the Cleveland pick. So
Allen was the guy.
So weird how that's why I don't believe the fucking lying season. That's what it is.
What about the Lions?
No, lying.
So 24/7 sports.
So CBS's draft grade. It's a safe pick, but I have my doubts about his game. They had to take a quarterback, but why not Josh Allen or Josh Rosen, who he feels are both better players.
So. Sure.
I think it's a character thing. I think they like the kid that is having that little spunk to him, that little personality.
Now, let's throw a wrench out there. Now, Cleveland is famous for doing things a little awkward. What if they were to draft Josh Allen right here?
They did do 2 quarterbacks. Washington.
Well,
Washington,
that's
2 quarterbacks,
because
1 draft.
That's because Snyder wanted RG3, and Shanahan wanted Kirk Cousins, so they had to come to an agreement.
Seems like Shanahan might have been right about one thing in his career, right?
Yeah, but remember when RG3 first came in? I mean, the guy was playing unbelievable.
He doesn't hurt his knee. Who knows?
Yeah, he was He was Deshaun Watson.
Sure.
Yeah, that was the element of his game that he really needed to be successful, and when he wasn't mobile,
TP, if that
he wasn't
happens,
accurate enough to make up for it.
If that happens, I'm going to start hugging you because the world might melt. All right.
Well, we just throw it out there like somebody's in there going, well, if we take, then we could just trade one of them.
The best quarterbacks.
Imagine if Drew Bledsoe never got hurt.
Yeah,
be a whole different world,
right?
Well, I mean, you're a Jet fan, so I hate to bring this up. Actually, I love bringing it up. I mean, Bill Belichick. How does the world change when Bill Belichick is your coach for a day?
Exactly.
If he never leaves, all of a sudden, it's a different world.
I just watched the
different world.
NFL or was it American football, whatever the NFL Network, but they did a cover with was it the '95 Cleveland Browns?
Yep.
You had Belichick. You had Saban.
Schwartz.
Matt, what's his name? It was the other Jet coach. Oh, Jesus.
Nick Mangini.
Eric Mangini.
Dude, they had Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah.
They had so many great, talented coaches on that squad.
I'm telling you, and that's the thing too, because you look at that the same light too. What happens if Belichick doesn't go to New England? What happens to Tom Brady? Is Tom Brady Tom Brady? Because there's a lot of, I'll tell you, there is probably in the draft classes of, I don't know, the last 25 years, let's say, there's probably
5
to 6% of guys.
They didn't trade it. I think it's Chubb.
Yeah, it's got to be Chubb. If they didn't trade it, there's 5 or 6% of the guys that didn't get a chance that would have been superstars. So you run that risk. So.
Denzel Ward.
Wow.
Cleveland Browns take Denzel Ward.
Wow.
Cornerback out of Ohio State.
No way.
Wow, that was a shocker, huh?
Wow.
What?
Chubb is still there?
This
I don't know.
Bears could move up now.
I mean, if the Broncos...
Here's your blow up. Here's your blow up, boys. Here it is.
Wow. No,
if
there's
the Broncos,
no reason for the Bears to move because they could get Edmonds at 8.
This is a blow up.
If the Broncos remain with this pick... Now, the Broncos got to be really happy if they really want Josh Allen or Rosen. But
Broncos
if they
are in the
don't,
driver's seat.
Von Miller with Nick Chubb, that's pretty scary.
It's like back with where?
Yeah.
Denzel Ward was the pick at 4.
Wow.
There's a lot of quality cornerbacks.
The Browns went Baker Mayfield and Denzel Ward.
That is so fucking...
Why wouldn't you trade down at that spot then?
I couldn't agree more because you can get a quality cornerback a lot later.
You trade. You got to trade out. That's fucking stupid. Wow.
That's the Browns being the Browns.
I guess so.
Browns are Browns, Browns are being it's kind of like that draft day where
they did need a cornerback.
Dave Bandick, where are you at, buddy?
They do need a cornerback, but I didn't see that till later in the draft, till 3rd or 4th round.
There's quality cornerbacks out there.
I gotta
run down.
This guy is not.
You gotta take off, Caleb. All right, I'll see you.
He is not Deion Sanders,
gentlemen.
Yeah, we should. That's pretty much where we wanted to.
Well, I want to see what Denver does.
I've got to run out and meet one of my buddies for the draft here, so I will see you all next time, and we'll be on next Thursday for our draft recap.
Yeah,
and it sounds like we've got something to talk about already.
I guess so. I just want to see what they do with Denver right here,
well,
and then
if you can wrap up the show with the audio and the video, I'm going to take off too.
Oh,
if you can't,
dick.
Well, that's what I'm like.
All right, let's wrap it up, guys. All right, well, we'll see what happens here with 5. So just to wrap things up here, Baker Mayfield went at 1. Saquon Barkley went at 2 to the Giants. Sam Darnold to the Jets at 3. I'm sorry, and then Denzel Ward at 4 to the Cleveland Browns. Man, I thought there'd be a trade, but I guess not. But we'll see you guys next week. We'll wrap it up. Stay tuned tomorrow for Back Talk with Tommy Drama starting at 11 to 1. He's going to be probably bitching about Donald Trump like he usually does. But we'll see you guys later, and have a good night.
Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy the draft.
Good night. that was fun, boys. Time flew. Wow.
The Property Sisters of the Mohawk Valley was born when 3 top producing agents with over 25 years of combined experience selling real estate joined forces to take real estate to the next level. We practice with honesty, integrity, and the knowledge to help make the buying and selling process easy and stress-free for all of our clients. We pledge to always make our clients our top priority from start to finish and even after the house is closed. We will always be a valued resource for information and assistance for our buyers and sellers. Our customers over the years have become not only past clients, but great friends. As we join hands together as the Property Sisters of the Mohawk Valley, we look forward to serving our clients and our community and making a positive difference. You can reach us at 315-601-9630 for all of your real estate needs.
When it's your hard-earned money on the line that you are investing into a home, it makes sense to choose a proven professional to assist you in making one of the biggest investments you may ever make. Josh's dedication of over 20 years to the home construction industry allows him to bring knowledge and experience to your doorstep. That means you can feel confident and comfortable with his service to you. Past clients love his attention to detail and thorough written reports. By allowing Priceless Inspections to help you make a well-informed decision concerning your property, you will find that a quality inspection is priceless. Follow Priceless Inspections on Facebook or call 315-525-8725.
Hi, this is attorney Nick Pasalacqua. The team of attorneys I have assembled at Pasalacqua & Associates has been carefully hand-picked to include the best trial attorneys in the particular areas of the law that we practice. Have you been charged with DWI or any other crime? Members of our team include former assistant district attorneys, now fighting to protect your rights 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Have you or someone you love been seriously injured in a motor vehicle accident? Members of the team at Pasalacqua & Associates include former insurance defense attorneys, now fighting to ensure that you get every penny you're entitled to. If you need legal help quick, don't waste your time or money calling anyone else. Remember, for legal help quick, you better call Nick and the team at Pasalacqua & Associates. 315-500-NICK or 315-500-6425 or visit cnytriallaw.com today.